turning massively on him. Dean Smith came in, got a little bit of a boost, a little bit of a bounce with the results, but it's gone a little bit flat in recent weeks. So this game against Sheffield United is a chance for them to get back to winning ways. If they can, they've got all the teams above them still to play at home, and it feels like it's kind of now or never for Villa.
It is a defensive unit, Greg, this season that has struggled. I'm not a manager, but I don't need to be a manager to see that has costed Aston Villa points this season. Tyrone Mings has come into the football club to try and to aid that, to hopefully help the back line. He's been a victim of a witch hunt, that according to his boss this week, Dean Smith. Greg, interesting story for you to cover over the last 7 days or so.
Yeah, interesting, and I have to admit, I feel a little bit sorry for Mings. Now, everyone's got their own opinion, and obviously only he knows whether he did it intentionally or accidentally. My opinion was that it was an accident. I was watching the game, I was at the game, there was absolutely no reaction from any of the fans or any of the press guys sitting next to me. There was no reaction from the bench. The referee was probably the closest person to it. He deemed it an accident and dealt with it as he saw fit. Okay, the fallout from it has been a little bit of a surprise for me. I think the key for Tyrone Mings is just to focus on his football now. I think that the Ibrahimovic incident, with him having previous for a similar incident, obviously has gone against him in my eyes. Just taking his performance against Reading last week, he was absolutely immaculate, and I just felt a little bit sorry for him, because for a player who has been desperately trying to get back to fitness and has had his setbacks at Bournemouth, he came in and had a brilliant debut, and then the whole incident clouded sort of his performance. Okay, I feel sorry for Nelson Oliveira as well, because he's come off a lot worse, but I'm convinced it was an accident.
And I banged this drum earlier, and I'm doing it again because it got on my nerves.
Drum out, Mark.
Okay, well, not least it's because I get to talk to Greg, who's sort of a member of the written media. I was so annoyed to see the word stamp used in so many headlines, because that in its own way is prejudgmental.
Well, exactly. As I didn't personally use the word stamp at any point, but as I said previously, I think the Ibrahimovic incident's gone against him. You've got to take each incident, as it comes, and this was an accident. I'm convinced of it.
It's a 3-game week now for Dean Smith and Aston Villa. Of course, Sheffield United tonight, then back against Brentford next week, then the Baggies. I mean, a hugely important run. And you get a sense, listening to Dean Smith, Greg, he still harbours a real optimism that they can make a late run, the right time towards the top 6 still this season.
Yeah, absolutely. His message has never changed since he's come in. He still believes Villa can get promoted. Obviously, he's desperate to do that, being a fan of the club himself as well. I feel like this time next week, next Sunday, we'll know a little bit more whether Villa are genuine promotion candidates, because they've got these big games: Sheffield United, as you say, Brentford, and then West Brom. That's if they can get 7 or 9 points, they're right back in it.
Sorry, he's got his old club Brentford at the wrong time, hasn't he?
He doesn't want them now, does he?
They're absolutely going, and Dean Smith's coming home. This is the perfect storm.
I know. Well, they're scoring goals for fun again, aren't they?
Yeah,
and they're
exactly.
unbeaten in 10, I think, and they've turned it around from the problems they were having earlier in the season. So, not ideal. And another bad omen for Villa is that I don't think they've beaten Brentford in the Championship in the last couple of years.
Apologies.
I mean, Villa trying to avoid a 4th consecutive season in the second tier, Greg. I mean, we speculate how many clubs will suffer financially if they can't get up after spending big to try and get in the Premier League if they stay in the Championship. The pressure, the expectation, we've discussed that already. Do you think Dean Smith is an individual and a personality that is going to be afforded the time you may feel he needs to mould Aston Villa in his image truly?
I really hope so, because he had, at his previous clubs he's improved both of those given time, and I'm sure he'll do it here at Villa. He just needs to build his own team. Every manager wants time, of course they do, and at Villa it's just the pressure to get results is it's heavier than most of the clubs, it feels anyway. The problems they're going to have is if they don't get promoted this season, then what they had, that they were a big club in the Championship before. I don't think they're going to be classed as that big club in the Championship anymore if they stay in for a 4th season. And our players are they going to be able to afford to pay the wages that they're paying for the players that are here currently next season. I don't think so. So I think this is their best chance of getting up now. If they don't, it's going to be a real struggle next season.
And regardless of results, what you've seen from the way a Dean Smith team plays, is it the right kind of team to be taking on a Sheffield United team that we know how they play?
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game tactically, I think. I'm looking forward to seeing how Villa will play against the three centre-halves, because they haven't done that. They haven't played against teams who settle with three at the back too often under Dean Smith's reign. So that'll be an interesting one. Obviously, Villa play with Tammy Abraham as the lone striker. I think a lot of the impetus will be on the likes of John McGinn and the wing players, Jonathan Kodjia, to get forward and support Abraham. So that'll be an interesting dynamic. Sheffield United, we know, come flying out the blocks. They absolutely battered Villa at Bramall Lane earlier in the season when they beat them 4-1. OK, it's a different regime now, a slightly different Villa team, so it'll be a little bit different. But no, really looking forward to it, and I just hope Villa take the game to them, and if they can get an early goal, then it'll be a really interesting game.
Greg, top value tonight. Thank you for joining us, mate. Have a good evening.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers.
Greg Evans, journalist for the Birmingham Mail. Many thanks to him for joining us tonight on TalkSport 2 Live. You could hear the steel drum starting up there at Villa Park.
Yeah.
That can only mean one thing.
Steel pan music. We're off, aren't we then?
Final build-up, kick-off, fast approaching. They always say at Villa Park, once you hear the steel drum, that means kick-off next. TalkSport 2 Live.
TalkSport 2 Live.
He's only been on the pitch for a second. What a performance from the substitute.
Every great team needs a super sub, someone ready to slot in when they're needed. That's why if your van is off the road needing warranty work of more than 3 hours, we'll arrange a courtesy van to keep your business moving. Your very own super sub. Get your team back on track. Renault Pro Plus, now with 0% hire purchase finance. Business users only. Renault Finance hire purchase subject to status. Orders by 31st of March. Registrations by 30th of June. T's and C's apply. Visit Renault.co.uk/commitment.
Time to let Homebase fill your home with colour with our fantastic paint deals. Right now, we've got 2 for £22 on 2.5 litre Crown Breathe Easy coloured emulsion. And there's 10 litre Crown Soft Grey emulsion at only £15 or 2 for just £25. Homebase, make your house a home. Excludes Pure Brilliant White clearance outlets and closure stores in store only.
Picture a group of teenagers on the bikes at night, hoods up, heads down, moving as one. What do you see? A gang to be avoided? Or do you see what we see? People working together to hone their skills. There are troops training armies around the world who need that right now. Your army needs you. Find where you belong. Search Army Jobs.
Brexit deals, confidence votes, squabbling MPs. Make sense of it all with a digital subscription to The Times and The Sunday Times. Read quality journalism from Rachel Sylvester, Matthew Paris, and our award-winning Red Box newsletter. All for just £1 a week for your first 8 weeks. Search The Times today. Terms and conditions apply.
Dad! Dads. They're often the first person in the firing line when the Wi-Fi isn't working. But with BT Complete Wi-Fi, only we guarantee a signal in every room. Billy can fight ogres in the bedroom, Becky can watch her beauty vloggers in the bathroom, and Mum can do whatever she likes, wherever she likes, naturally. Join today. It's $39.99 a month on an 18-month contract with $9.99 delivery. BT customers can upgrade with BT Plus. BT, be there.
New customers. CPI increase starting 2020. $44.49 a month from month 19. Up to 3 discs to guarantee Wi-Fi or £20 off your bill.
Can you still get the quality van you really want with a Van Monster deal that gives you even more? Oh, yes.
What's that coming over the hill, Van Monster?
We still have a choice of 2015 Peugeot partners from only £113 a month, all with a free 6-month warranty. And we've extended our offer of 7 nights free accommodation at a choice of Spanish resorts. But it's February only, so see vanmonster.com. Conditions apply. Deposit payable. Offers to business users only.
They're the sporting rivalries that grip a nation.
The crowd have just gone delirious.
Transcend pure competition.
Just phenomenal.
And define their sport for a generation.
Reunited from TalkSport is a series of interviews that brings together iconic sporting personalities for an exclusive and candid conversation. Reunited, the podcast.
Olympian brothers in arms, Alistair and Johnny Brownlee, talk sportsmanship, sibling rivalry, and setting a new global standard for swim, bike, run.
This is the perfect scenario. You know, we're here in the Olympics, we're a brother, we're both going to win medals, probably going to come first and second. It's just, fantastic.
Reunited with the Brownlee brothers.
Download the podcast now.
You're listening to TalkSport 2 Live.
So a force to be reckoned with so far this season, Sheffield United, who have a rich reward available if they can conquer in the West Midlands tonight. 3 points against Aston Villa, and the Blades can leapfrog both Leeds United and Norwich into top spot. Villa know 3 points could revitalise their season and get their drifting promotion push firing once again. We've got kick-off in just over 10 minutes from now here on TalkSport 2 Live with our commentary team of Nigel Adley and our summariser, the former Wolves keeper Matt Murray. Ahead of the start, let's hear from both bosses now, starting with Dean Smith, who knows this is going to be a tough test tonight.
A team that know what they're doing, they're organised, so it's a good game and one we're looking forward to. They need a win to get back into the top two, I believe. We need a win to keep in touch with the playoffs, so it's got all to play for. I'm looking forward to it.
Can we take our chances when they get offered up, because I think we will create, and can we defend in a manner that nullifies their threats? If we can, we give ourselves a great opportunity of getting a win.
Both Dean Smith and Chris Wilder talking ahead of the start. Final preparations underway for Aston Villa and Sheffield United. Live commentary here on TalkSport 2. Matt Murray, look, Dean Smith knows the fan expectation. He's one of them, let's not forget. Do you think he knew truly the size of the challenge he was taking on at Villa Park and the difficulty of it, what he's facing right now?
Yeah, he did, yeah. He's a football guy. He's come up the hard way. Doing it. He was at the Nike Academy. He was then at, obviously, Walsall, Brentford. He's from the area. He knows the size of this club. He knows the history of this club. But he has that belief, and it's an opportunity that he couldn't turn down. But yeah, I don't think he's surprised. I don't think he's surprised at all. Maybe a few little financial things behind the scenes, or how difficult it has been in this window. But he wouldn't have foreseen the injuries, as I said, to Grealish, to Twanzebe. They've been the big blows, but they've known the expectation levels, and they've known the pressure would have been on straight away, that the Villa fans want an attractive brand, and they need to be the results, get the results and be up and about it. And he know that he's still probably they are the biggest team in the division, and everyone raises their game. So no, I'm not surprised. I don't think he would have been surprised, and he'd have known all about it. And he's working really, really hard, and I'm sure he'll believe that he and his staff can turn it round.
They got Jednak back in the heart of that midfield there, and especially from his Crystal Palace days, you just know that he can basically be the barometer of how a team goes, a real leader on the field there. Is his form been good enough, and do you imagine that he comes back fit enough to be that man again?
I think he's got to be disciplined and just sit there and protect. This is a free-flowing Sheffield United team, so that needs to be disciplined. He had a go at centre-half, and that he wasn't able to do that. He wasn't able to do that role.
The game here last season against Sheffield United showed that, didn't it? Because Clayton Donaldson
played on him and hurt him. Yeah, so Nigel's memory is unbelievable. But yeah, I do, and that's the thing. If he had played in that position, then they would have, I'm sure the Sheffield United staff would remember that and played on it. So he's not quite the force he was in the Premier League. That's why he's not in the Premier League. But he's still a very good player. You saw that in the World Cup for Australia. He's a leader, he's an organiser, he's got quality from he can take a penalty, so he's a very, very good player. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes, but I don't think he'll be bombing around. He'll just be there to tick possession over, but protect, be disciplined, and use his experience to do that. So a slightly different player, but still a very effective player at this level. But I think a real defensive midfielder is something that Dean Smith would have liked in the window, but it's so hard with the budgets controlling that and getting people in, because to bring players in the January window is tough. People don't want to lose people, they cost a lot of money. So be interested to see how Jednak does today. But with that midfield that Sheffield United have, with Fleck and that in there, they're very, very good on the ball.
Great energy. I do wonder, actually, Matt, just jumping in, if Jednak will have a role to try and deal with Kieran Dowell, who you'd expect to try and pick up holes in that 10 role for United tonight.
Yeah, it's just what I was going to say. Dowell is a good player. I liked him at Nottingham Forest last season, and a lot of people wanting to take him on loan. So for Sheffield United, it's a real coup that they've able to sign him. But yeah, Jednak will definitely have to try and shield balls into him or get tight to him, because if he's that left foot, if he gets into areas, he can shoot, he can thread passes through. And when you've got the likes of Billy Sharp up top, wow, he can create. Medine will be looking for bits as well. So yeah, Jedinak's role to stop Dowell is very, very important. And whether it's Duffy in there or Dowell in there, they're key to how Sheffield United play. And Dowell will be wanting on this platform, on this stage, to really, really prove a point for Sheffield United. So yeah, I think that is a big reason why Jedinak's in there.
What do they do then, Villa, Matt, from your perspective, to counter the three centre-halves? I mean, because obviously what you want to do is you want to make them busy. But it's not their natural game is to press on those, is it?
Look, how Sheffield United play because a lot of these players played in League One with Sheffield United,
right?
So they know what they're doing, and it's so fluid. I used to coach Barnsley's under-23s. I was the assistant coach there, and the under-23s of Sheffield United played in a similar way. And you used to do all your things and all your shape, and you'd watch all the videos. You'll see the left side centre-back of the three, like ending up at the back post.
The amount of time that Chris Basham has picked up a position at the far post this season is staggering.
It's unreal, and it's so fluid in the movement, but they never look too open at the back.
No.
But
Now he's quickly challenged, lays it back low to Dowell. Good feet from Dowell, deep inside the penalty area. He pulls it back behind Medine, and Jedinak will clear, but Villa at full stretch to defend once again as Abraham plays it wide towards McGinn, and it's just lumped forward from him, one bounce into the arms of Henderson.
Yeah, good chance there for Sheffield United as well. And I thought when that pullback from Bulldog, I thought that Dowell might be able to come on and hit it first time. He thought he was able, you know, he needed to skip round the Aston Villa defender, and then to be fair to the Villa defenders, they stayed on their feet, ushered him wide, and a chance had gone. But again, a dangerous situation there.
Bulldog once again now given the room to turn behind Horahan, and he's dragged down right on the edge of the penalty area. And Tony Harrington thinks about going to the back pocket for the card, but instead pulls out the vanishing spray. But it's a free kick for Sheffield United here, and Guy Clark, our producer, points out the Blades have had 72% possession in the opening 9 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they've dominated the ball and they've shifted it around, and it's not only possession with no purpose. This is switches of play, getting into dangerous areas. You saw again, brilliant ball in, and Horahan, you know, good desire to get back, but he knew that Bulldog was getting into a dangerous position. I think he's very lucky to escape a yellow card because he's been walking a tightrope, but again, a free kick in a dangerous position. Surely it's going to be Norwood or Fleck taking this.
Well, it favours Fleck, who could curl this left-footed. Norwood with the right foot as well. And it's Norwood who is the decoy. And nothing happens as Fleck checks and then clips it high towards the far post, and it's nodded clear by Hutton, and it's another corner to Sheffield United.
Now, sometimes people do the decoy run and they make you try and switch off as a defender thinking they messed up, but I think they did mess up then. I don't think that was meant to be like that. Two very, will probably be the, you know, if they get the first goal, could be very difficult for Villa to get back into this.
10 minutes played, 0-0 on TalkSport 2 at Villa Park. Norwood's corner, high to the far post. Medine rises, it's back into the penalty area, appeals it across the line, and the goal has been given. And it's Billy Sharp yet again for Sheffield United. And when he scores, they back on top of the championship.
You're right, they did deserve it. They've been putting the pressure on, they've been playing some great stuff. We know what a threat they are from set pieces, and it's a fantastic ball in from Norwood. Deep, well worked, headed back into a dangerous area, and there's Billy Sharp. Every chance he gets, that's why he is the leading goal scorer in the division. That's why he's a top marksman, and from close range just pokes the ball in, and he knew it was in. He already knew, he didn't need to wait for the referee to signal. They're off, peeling away. Sheffield United thoroughly deserve that, and now it's going to be for Aston Villa to get back into this game. But brilliant poacher's goal from Billy Sharp, and well deserved by Sheffield.
And Sheffield United before tonight are unbeaten in 46 games when Billy Sharp has scored, and they've won 25 of the last 27.
Well, it's going to be some ask. Aston Villa are one of the best teams in the division for coming back and getting points when trailing. But Sheffield United as well, they are decent at holding on to leads, and they've been very, very good. They're in great form, as you know, and that's why, and they know what the reward is. They can go top spot and say, right, pressure onto you now, onto Leeds, onto Norwich. We've done our job. But I don't think anyone can argue. Sheffield United play some really, really good stuff, and their set-piece deliveries, and that was well worked. He hit that deep for a reason, back into a dangerous area, and yeah, Billy Sharp, excellent. He's a man on the spot and a man in form.
Well, we're miles away from the Holt End goal here, but there was absolutely no doubt from Sheffield United, the ball across the line, and no complaints either from Aston Villa, as McGinn has now been penalised for a high boot. But we spoke about the midfield area before the game. It looks like McGinn's playing as the number 10 behind Abraham, with Horahan alongside Jedinak, but they're outnumbered.
Yeah, and it's really difficult because the centre halves, in Basham and is it O'Connell, because they push on so wide, and then it allows sometimes the midfielders of Fleck and Norwood to drop deep. It's hard for people to go on, get the pressure. Such a fluid system, and then other bodies coming in. It's just so how fluid it is. Who locks onto who presses where, but when they lose it, they get back into shape, or other people swing round and cover. So yeah, at the moment, Aston Villa are really struggling to get a foothold. But we talk about possession football, but this is a real purpose to what they're doing.
Now it's driven low into the penalty area from Stevens and swept away at the near post by Mings. It's a version of total football with central defenders on the wing and midfielders dropping back into the back four or back five. Here is Basham again looking to charge forward, and he's cleaned out by Jedinak, and it's Jedinak's first significant involvement in the midfield area, and it earns him a yellow card.
Yeah, because it's so cynical. So as you say, it's total football. They switch it around, they hit the big switches, Norwood, Fleck, they got width. I know you say about the Wolves, but Wolves played some really good football last season. This is right up there. It's impressive stuff. They've got the people to do it, but they haven't had the same budget. So So it shows you about the recruitment, it shows you about the ability of the coaching, because
it's nodded down by Medine again, and Elphick will just nudge it back towards Kalinic. And then a long ball forward from him is controlled by Egan, and it's back towards Henderson. And Sheffield United learned lessons from last season. They had a really 5 in the second half of this season. They look as though they are capable of staying in the course.
Yeah, they'll have learned a lot from it, and the players that have grown got a lot of belief, because quite a lot of these players are the team that took them up from League One. So, and Henderson was on loan in League One last season, but these players that have grown believe that they're championship players. I think the acquisitions of Norwood and Dow coming in, and yeah, they'll really believe in it, and they deserve to be where they are, and competing against the other budgets. They've done a fantastic job.
Billy Sharp's 21st goal of the season, 14 minutes played on TalkSport 2. The Blades lead at Villa Park by a 1-0. But here is Codger now, looking to turn inside the area. Great challenge, though. Basham went to ground and won the ball inside the box, and now Dowell will try and bring the ball clear. He was caught by Horahan. Fortunate to avoid this so early in the game.
Fortunate, he is so lucky. If Yedinat gets it for his, that was again, he knew what he was doing, because he was away there and he took him down his Achilles as well. But credit to Sheffield United lads, they just picked themselves up.
Here is Medine now on the edge of the penalty area, found by Fleck, but Villa get bodies around him. It's cleared away by Horahan, but it's quickly won back, and already there are grumbles from the Holt end here. You can sense the anxiety around Villa Park.
Yeah, they know that Sheffield United are better than them. They're better in possession, out of possession, their formation, and they'll be looking at it thinking, we're Aston Villa, we've come down from the Premier League only a few seasons ago. And yes, Sheffield United...
That mindset has got to go. I mean, that's been prevalent around Villa in the last couple of years, but you're not a Premier League club. You have the trappings of a Premier League club, but it's what happens on the field. Here is Codger coming forward now. Bulldog gets there first and wins it back. The home crowd looking for a free kick, but Tony Harrington unmoved.
Yeah, it is what happens on the field, so they'll know on the field that their wage bill will be a lot bigger than Sheffield United's. They look at all the setup, everything else, and whether or not they've got the right to do that, they will think that. Most of these Aston Villa fans will have only ever known Aston Villa in the Premier League, and this is the last, only for these few seasons. Even though, like we said in the build-up, they have struggled for probably the last 8 seasons, they still won't have known this, so they'd expect to be beating Sheffield United, and that's what they think with the players they've got on show. I thought he was in then.
Basham with a long ball over the top, looking for Sharp, but as we have seen in the Championship, teams with a sense of self-entitlement really do well. Here is Hutton coming forward now. I'm not saying the team have, but maybe some of the supporters around Villa Park.
Yeah, definitely, but now they realise how hard it is, and that's why so many teams stay in this division or end up in League One, because it is very, very tough, and it doesn't matter what reputation you've got, and teams actually raise it. If you're a player coming here, a lot of these players would have seen Aston Villa as a big team. Come to Villa Park, wow, we'll lift it. But Sheffield United have been fantastic tonight.
No, this is a real cathedral. Here is McGinn now, looking to wriggle into the penalty area, but just runs out of room. He was challenged by O'Connell, and he knocks the ball over the byline. And it's a goal kick to Sheffield United. Their fans are loving this on the far side. 17 minutes played on TalkSport 2. They lead by a 1-0 on a ground where they've not won in the league since January 1966.
They're going to be loving it, though. They've come up out of League One playing really attractive football. They've then taken that into the Championship. They've got a manager who's one of their own. You know, they work so hard out of possession as well. That's what I always thought about Sheffield United. They were always a hard-working, committed team, but they've got the flair in possession. But there you saw O'Connell beaten, but no, straight back in to get there, stay on his feet, fantastic defending, and credit to Chris Wilde and everyone here. So look, there's a long way to go, but at the moment, Dean Smith, you can see him stood there, Rich O'Kelly. I'm sure go back to John Terry on the bench as well and say, right, what have we got to do here? Because at the moment, we're not able to get a foothold in this game. We're not able to get over the pitch, we're not able to get passive possession, and this isn't typical for Dean Smith's teams.
And the absence of Jack Grealish casts a long shadow over Aston Villa. He played 9 games for Dean Smith. He's been injured for the last 9. And Villa picked up nearly 2.5 points a game with Grealish in the team, and it's been under 1.5 points since.
Yeah, and that's why he will feel like a new signing. £25 million player is what he's described as, and that's because Tottenham were prepared to pay that for him. So look, yeah, they need him back sooner rather than later and give everyone a lift, and this will be the sort of game be crying out for him to try and just give Aston Villa some legs in midfield, but also some possession.
Jedinak has given the ball away. Sheffield United come forward. Basham with a cross in from the right, and Kalinic does well to gather the ball as it skipped up on the bounce on the edge of the penalty area. And he quickly bowls it out to Hutton, who comes forward now, but not a huge amount of movement ahead of him, so Hutton goes himself, takes on his fellow Scott Fleck, and now Hourihane on the halfway line. McGinn looks to try and create the angle to the left, but here is Hutton to the right, and further wide to the Dutchman El Ghazi. Now Abraham, who was some way outside the penalty area, but his ankle was tapped by Fleck, and Villa take the free kick quickly. Hourihane wide towards Taylor down the left-hand side, on towards Kodja once again, whose left hand is heavily bandaged, and the cross into the penalty area, not clear. Stooping in was Fleck, and by the corner flag on this near side, Baldock will find Basham, and it's long up to the halfway line. Jedinak got a push in the back there from Medine, but the striker's header is out of play on this near side for a throw into Aston Villa.
Just away, Dean Smith bounced that ball down, didn't he? He looked frustrated. I know he wanted a free kick for the nudge in the back of Jedinak, but he's frustrated at the moment. But what was so impressive, the recovery run, all the Sheffield United players getting back into that 5 and the 3, and now Aston Villa find it so hard to break them down. They are so well coached, so well drilled.
And now Abraham has given the ball away. Here is Sharp coming forward now. Medine looking for support, finds it down the left-hand side from the overlapping Ender Stevens. Back now towards O'Connell, and Sheffield United are flooding the midfield area once again. Here is Norwood. Basham now on the halfway line, back towards Norwood again, and every single outfield player, apart from Egan, is now inside the Villa half, as Villa are forced back en masse every time Sheffield United have the ball, but the long ball into the penalty area from Stevens, looking for McDowell, is overhit, and it's gathered by Kalinic.
Yeah, it's a good play again, but it's Norwood, isn't it? He's that quarterback, he drops in, but if you stop Norwood, then Fleck gets on it, and there's another challenge area.
Kodja went in late on Baldock, but the referee allows play to continue. Here is Egan now, but he's lost out to Abraham. Abraham will look to take on the last man, but it was a wonderful challenge from O'Connell, who came in with his wrong foot, but he got across Abraham and won the ball cleanly.
Brilliant challenge, and he had to get it timed to perfection, because if he brings him down there, suddenly the whole game changes.
He's gone,
he's off, and it'll be down to 10 men, and then it really affects how they play. But that's what they are as well. His teammate gets caught, it comes across, brilliant challenge, digs him out, but that's what Aston Villa are looking to do, to set that trap. But it's going to, Abraham, if he does get a chance, he's going to have to be clinical tonight, because at the moment he's not getting a lot of the ball, a lot of service, and he's looking to try and set that trap. But Aston Villa are finding it really hard, and I think Dean Smith will be thinking, can we just contain them? And then at half-time, wouldn't it surprise me if they made a change to the system or some tactics.
21 minutes played, Aston Villa 0, Sheffield United 1, and TalkSport 2 supports the work of Prostate Cancer UK. Visit prostatecanceruk.org/football to find out how you can help, and together we can help stop prostate cancer killing a man every 45 minutes. Another Villa move breaks down on the edge of the Sheffield United penalty area. Dean Henderson has had nothing like a shot to save so far, as a ball is cushioned back by the head of Norwood into the arms of his keeper once again. Aston Villa with 6 wins, 7 draws and only 2 defeats at home, but they've now conceded 28 goals here, and that's the highest tally in the division. Here is Dowell with an excellent ball down this near side, the right, looking for the run of Baldock, but he's flagged offside, and Villa will have the free kick. No one has more home draws than Villa, but at the same time no one has fewer home defeats, so they really rely on the form here at Villa Park at the moment, but only 1 win in 6, and that was against Ipswich.
Yeah, against Ipswich, they would be expecting to beat, but it's that draws, isn't it? Too many draws. Even if just a couple more of those had been wins, they'd be right up in the playoff mix. But it was interesting, John Terry came out there as well to chat with Rich O'Kelly and Dean Smith, and they'll just be thinking, how do we stop this? How do we stop this? And for Chris Wilder, he'll be thinking, yeah, I like it when they're coming out, because they're struggling to get to grips with us, and he knows that his team's doing well, but there's only 1 goal in it.
Scored by Billy Sharp, but Sheffield United, the dominant side at the moment, as Medine I think, buys a free kick there from Elphick because he knew the ball was overhit, but he spun into the body of Elphick. There was contact, but I think it was initiated by Medine, but Tony Harrington has given Sheffield United the free kick.
Yeah, he definitely won that ball, however you want to describe it. Yeah, there's a bit of experience there, and that's what Gary Medine will bring, though. He'll get flick-ons, he'll hold up play, he'll work hard, he'll be a pest around the place. Maybe not as much quality, obviously he's not as prolific as what Abraham is for Aston Villa or Billy Sharp is for Sheffield United or McGoldrick, but he's there to work hard, do that, and just be a nuisance, really.
Long ball played forward again, looking for Medine from O'Connell, but Villa will win it back. But at the moment, they are really feeding off scraps in this game. But here is McGinn looking to get them going with the ball wide to this near side, the left, and Taylor. Villa attacking the north stand away to our left-hand side in the opening 45 minutes. A high ball wide to the far side. Kodja is now over there. He does well to control the ball on his bicep, but he can't take on Stevens because the ball ricochets away off the wing-back, and it will be a throw into Villa by the corner flag in front of the Sheffield United fans on the far side.
Yeah, big switch, but unbelievable touch, wasn't it, from Kodja? Brilliant touch, but good defending there from Stevens.
24 minutes played. Villa 0, Sheffield United 1 on TalkSport 2. And don't forget, there was a double header of Premier League action over on TalkSport in Matchday Live with Adrian Durham tomorrow at 3. Marco Silva's return to Vicarage Road. Watford against Everton, followed at 5:30 with Laura Woods in the team. It is Brighton against Burnley. Here on TalkSport 2, there is coverage of the first day of the third test in St Lucia, live and exclusive across the network from 2 o'clock. Then on Sunday, I'll be at Carrow Road alongside Dean Ashton at noon for the East Anglian derby. Norwich against Ipswich, and the cricket day 2 will follow immediately at the end of that game. Villa have conceded another free kick midway inside the Sheffield United half, and it's cleared long downfield by Henderson. Onto the head of Jedinak, who clears. Quickly returned, though, by Basham. Wide to the far side, the left. Hutton does well to control, but then gives it away to Fleck, but it's quickly won back by Horahan. And Villa will try and bring it forward now with Taylor. Further wide towards El Ghazi. Now cutting in field from the left-hand side. Abraham lays it back towards McGinn. Horahan can strike it, though, but he can't on this occasion. He finds Kodja down the right-hand side. Looks to go to the byline. Lovely turn from him. It's still Kodja. Drags the shot inside the 6-yard box. Sheffield United clear. Only as far as Hutton. A high ball in from him. And it was Abraham with a far post header, which is wide. But it's the closest Villa have come by some distance so far.
Yeah, because the last few times Kodja's been out on the right, El Ghazi's come over here, and Kodja's, a good little bit of skill there. You thought Sheffield United cleared it, but then it was a poor touch from Dow. They keep it alive, but it's very difficult for Aston Villa because the ball, even though it did come in, there were so many yellow shirts. It was very congested. The distances and the body positions, everything about it was perfect. So either Abraham was stretching, went just wide. So still, Henderson hasn't had a save to make. I can't think of a serious save that he's had to make or even come close to it, really.
Across.
Yeah.
26 minutes played. Sheffield United lead 1-0 by this stage here last season. It was 2-2. Villa went 2 goals up very early on. Taylor with the cross into the area, headed away by Egan. But as we referred to earlier, Mile Jedinak was deployed as a central defender, and Clayton Donaldson really played on that, scored 2 quick goals, and Sheffield United got a point.
But that went down well, didn't it, being the ex-Blues man?
Of course. Now Norwood with the free kick. Wide towards the far side, and Fleck. And Sheffield United playing all of the football here so far. Medine given the room to spin, and he plays a good ball in field. Norwood has that quarterback once again, will spray the passes around. Wide to this right-hand side, and Bulldog, who plays a 1-2 with Basham, the central defender once again in the right-wing area. And Sheffield United here are toying with Aston Villa at times, but they need the second goal. O'Connell finding Stevens on the far side. Kodja will come back and make the challenge, and also comes away with the ball. That's good stuff from the Villa wide man. Now he needs support, plays it infield looking for Horahan, who slides in on Medine. Both players go to ground, and they both end up on the turf, and in the end the ball bobbles through towards Billy Sharp, who tangles with Tyrone Mings, and Mings came away with the ball and also gets the free kick.
Do you know what? Some really good competitive challenges, good desire to get back. I don't think that was even a foul there. I just thought that Mings was a little bit too strong for Billy Sharp. They both a good, honest attempt for the ball. But every time Sheffield United lose it, Stevens loses it, but he gets straight back at Kodja. And that's a bit, and you try and talk to young players, especially now coming through academy, that out of possession work, that desire to get back, and the top players and the top teams, that's what they do. All right, they're brilliant going forward, but you watch Manchester City, Liverpool, and this is why Sheffield United is so good, because they're really good and work so hard out of possession, and that's why Henderson is having a pretty quiet night, because the team in front of him, they know their jobs, but they're showing that desire. You can play whatever formation you want, but if you don't match the work rate, and they've got quality work rate, very, very impressed. And Dean Smith's going to have to change some. I don't know if they go 4-3-3 and try and lock higher on, but it looks like a 4-1-4-1, do you think, at the moment? And just not really getting close to them.
They're outnumbered in all key areas.
Yeah, they've got to do something. They've got to change it.
29 minutes played. Sheffield United lead by a goal to nil. Villa have scored in their last 27 home games, so it would be unusual for them to find a blank here this evening, but they failed to score last week, of course. 0-0 at Reading, which was Lovro Kalinic's first clean sheet in the Aston Villa goal.
He was excellent, wasn't he, by all accounts? I think both keepers are good. Emi Martinez as well in goal for Reading. Very talented keeper, needs to get games behind him. But, yeah, Aston Villa will know that they can score goals here, but at the moment they don't look like doing it. But they will have belief because they know they're capable of it.
Well, they had that purple patch, of course, in November when they had those 3-0 wins at Middlesbrough and Derby. The big win here against Blues in the local Derby 4-2, and that remarkable 5-5 draw at home to Nottingham Forest as Jedinak's ball very precisely played to the far side is over the head of Kodja, and it's out of play for a throw-in. But I think the turning point was the game we were at, the 2-2 draw against West Brom, the handball goal from Rodriguez deep into added time, and Villa should have won, and since then it's 2 wins, 6 draws and 2 defeats.
And Grealish limped off, didn't he?
That was Grealish's final game, yeah.
Because nothing happened to him, but it was a shin, was it a shin sort of stress
problem,
injury? Yeah, so because we were watching the game, weren't we, thinking, what's wrong with him here? Maybe, but yeah, that handball, and you look at key pivotal moments, and for Sheffield, for West Brom, it was a massive point, because they didn't deserve it. They had a chance in it with Abraham to put that game
Villa
to
should
bed.
have won that game 4 or 5-1.
Should have put it to bed, and then since then they struggled losing him, but I still think Twinzabi as well was a big miss. I mean, imagine Twinzabi and Mings playing together. Yeah. Tell you what, that would be some, athletic partnership. Elphick's done pretty well coming back, but yeah, they need to get the goals. They need Grealish back, but they just don't look anywhere near it at the moment. And but this is where, if he wants to be a top manager, this is where Smith's got to earn, really earn his money now and change this and get his team back into it.
Well, Axel Twinzabi and James Chester both out injured. Of course, we've spoken about Jack Grealish, and Tom Carroll on loan from Swansea, not involved in the 18 here tonight, as Egan volleys clear for Sheffield United, up towards the edge of the penalty area, lofted long over the top again by Elphick, and Abraham will do well to gather and keep the ball in play on this near side. El Ghazi with an in-swinging cross just beyond Kodja, who goes down looking for the penalty. Nowhere near it, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, good defending from Ender Stevens, just easing him out of it. And one of the Sheffield defenders there, I'm not sure who it was, is having a little moan at Henderson, saying he should have come and got that ball which Abraham got onto, but there's no chance he could have got involved in that, and that would have ended up being a silly race or a smash, and ended up giving a penalty away. But what you know is Aston Villa scored goals from crosses, and that's what El Ghazi did there, in swinging cross, but eased out of it. Kodja was at the back post. But El Ghazi was brilliant, wasn't he, against West Brom? Scored some wonder goals, but they need players like him now in games like this to really step up, especially with the absence of Grealish.
Dowell now clips it over the top for Sheffield United. Medine with a run into the penalty area, but Elphick was there just to hook the ball away. And here is Hutton coming forward now, finding Abraham, and a good reverse ball down the line far side, looking for Kodja, but Egan gets there first, and he boots it high into the Sheffield United fans on the far side. It's a throw-in for Villa, level with the edge of the Sheffield United penalty area. 12 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. And Villa trail by a goal to nil, and deservedly so. Elphick now with a high diagonal ball for Aston Villa, looking for El Ghazi, who does well to win the header, but there was nobody else in a claret shirt anywhere near him, and it's cleared long downfield. Medine now flicks the ball on above Mings. Sharp will try and get there before Elphick, but the Villa man recovers, then clips a dreadful ball in field straight to Fleck. Fleck now on towards Medine on the edge of the penalty area. He swings away to the left hand side. Space now for Stevens. A high ball clip back into the penalty area. Medine goes down, looking for a penalty, and he stayed down, and Villa will clear, and nothing given by Tony Harrington.
Yeah, good dispossess. They were dispossessed well there by Sheffield United. Aston Villa, it was a poor ball, but then they flooded the bodies forward. He saw Ender Stevens just left Kodja behind, put a ball into dangerous area, but again, well defended. But that transition, it was a very sloppy pass, wasn't it, giving it away? But Aston Villa just about survived. But all in all, I think Sheffield United are so good. Their work rate, everything about them, very, very good. But that was a lucky escape, because the second goal now, that would be a real big ask and a massive blow then to Aston Villa.
Big games, of course, at the top tomorrow. Middlesbrough against Leeds is a 1 o'clock start. Tony Pugh is looking for a response after their pitiful performance at Newport in the FA Cup on Tuesday. Leeds coming into that with 2 defeats in the last 3, following the emergence of Spygate, as Medine comes forward on this near side. Basham now scoops a lovely ball into the area, looking for Bulldog. He hooks it back, but Hourihane is there to gather for Aston Villa, and they clear long downfield, but Abraham is there all on his own, outnumbered by both Egan and O'Connell, and it's O'Connell who just boots it away on this near side for a throw-in. And the home crowd here are just on the turn.
Yeah, they're frustrated, and Abraham's just feeding off scraps, but fair play to him. He's working hard, he's chasing lost causes. He's there. It was a nothing ball, but at least he turned it into a throw-in, so Aston Villa then get possession back. But he'll be thinking, come on, get people up around me, give me some service. But if he does get a chance, he's got to take it. And if they do get a goal, Aston Villa are right back into this. But Abraham might be thinking maybe we should have gone to Wolves, and gone there and got those chances. But Dean Smith's done brilliant to keep him. But I just think at the moment Aston Villa are struggling to get bodies in and around him.
Well, there's no doubt that Villa are a bigger club than Wolves, but of course Villa, pardon, look, they are a bigger club, but Wolves clearly have a better team. No doubt about that either. Here is Hutton now. Wide towards this near side, and Taylor. El Ghazi looking to hold the width and maybe be a decoy. Taylor with a cross in, fisted away by Henderson up towards the edge of the penalty area. Not a clear as far as Hutton, who strikes it in from long range, right-footed a couple of yards over the top.
Yeah, and Henderson's relieved at that rebound. Then, the strike there from Hutton ended up going over the bar, and he's having a little chat with him there. I think it might be Egan having a chat with him, saying, catch that, we've held the line, you've come there, there's no one around you. But he'd already made his mind up he's going to punch it. But it's a decent ball into the box, so a little bit better from Aston Villa, a bit more encouraging for the fans. But yeah, I think these Aston Villa fans are frustrated, and it's like you say, they're not entitled to go and win games just because they've won the European Cup and they've been in the Premier League all those years, and it's great setup. They have to earn the right, and so far they haven't done that. And I'm sure Ender Stevens was a young apprentice here at Aston Villa, had a lot of loan spells, so he'll be enjoying it tonight.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I'm sure I thought he was, and so he'll be enjoying it tonight and wanting to come back and prove a point. But a lot of teams will come here and really fancy it. So Sheffield have been brilliant.
Now a Republic of Ireland international as McGinn, I think, got the foul there the second time of asking. Tony Harrington was going to give it for the first challenge by Norwood, but McGinn came away with the ball, and then a second one quickly came in from Bulldog, and the whistle did blow.
Yeah, and it was a correct decision. Well, I think Mick McCarthy and Terry Connor are here tonight, so they'll be watching Hourihane, they'll be watching Ender Stevens. If Whelan comes on, I think his days are done, aren't they, with Ireland? But Hourihane and Ender Stevens will definitely be wanting to impress Mick McCarthy and Terry Connor are here tonight.
36 minutes played. Aston Villa 0, Sheffield United 1. Billy Sharp with the goal. And Sheffield United should have added to their lead since, as Hutton comes forward now. Finds Abraham on the edge of the box, but again he tries to lay the ball off, and he only finds Norwood, and Sheffield United just keep it simple and knock it out of play, and it will be a throw into Villa on this near side. 8 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. And we'll be at the Stadium of Light this time next week for League One action. Sunderland against Accrington Stanley. That's our Friday night commentary on TalkSport 2 live next week.
Slightly different budgets there.
Yeah, slightly different sizes of clubs, aren't they? I mean, you could argue about maybe Villa and Wolves, but I don't think there's too much of an argument between Sunderland and Accrington Stanley. But, Accrington have done brilliantly.
John Coleman and Jimmy Bell, great job they've done there. But yeah, that would be Sunderland. You know, they want to get back at the first attempt.
And at the moment, they're in a real scrap at the top of the table with the likes of Luton and Portsmouth, and that's coming up next week. But here, Sheffield United moving forward now with Baldock. Lovely ball infield to Medine, and the flick from him finds Dowell. And Medine was offering support again, but it's further wide to the left-hand side, and Stevens. Full weight for the cross, but it's deflected off Horahan, and it should be cleared away by Hutton. And eventually, he just launches it long downfield. Lovely first touch, though, by O'Connell to win the ball and control it stone dead. Fleck wide to the far side. O'Connell continues his run towards the corner flag, and it's his cross which is met by Mings at the near post. Now Fleck, though, from the rebound, has time to try and direct the traffic and find Norwood 25 yards out. A lofted ball from him wide to this near side, and Baldock once again. Basham comes around the outside on the overlap, but Baldock uses him as a decoy. Sharp inside the area, back to Baldock. Lovely first time ball in, and it's cleared away by Elphick, and that was terrific football.
Brilliant football. Ended up with switches. You saw desire, you saw running off the ball. That opened up opportunities for the player on the ball, just selfless running off the ball. Overloads created. Really, really good football. Very good, and unlucky not to end up with a clear effort on Aston Villa's goal. And yeah, that would have been, if that had ended up with a goal, that would have been one of the goals of the season, I'm telling you, with that amount of football.
Basham now looking to win the ball back from El Ghazi on this near side, but El Ghazi does well to clear. Only as far as Fleck. Dowell with the ball around the corner to find Sharp, who wants it back on the edge of the area. Sharp again in towards Medine, but the ball was just behind him. And Villa have been opened up there, but Kalinic able to gather.
Yeah, some good little intricate play. You can see Billy Sharp, because he knew he wanted to play that little wall pass into Medine, who would set it back, and then Sharp would have ended up with a strike. So good tight play, but just misplaced the pass. But good play from Sheffield United, good pressure, and they're really pushing for that second just before half-time.
Now O'Connell heads it out on the far side after a long Villa ball forward, and it's a throw-in taken quickly by Horahan. Back towards Hutton, who pirouettes away from Dowell, now drives in the cross, met though by Basham and hooked further away by O'Connell, but it's a throw-in to Aston Villa, which encourages the home crowd here. They've trailed 4 times at half-time in the Championship so far this season, and not won any of those games, losing 3 of them as the ball is clipped in by Horahan, scuffed along the floor and gathered at the near post by Henderson.
Well, one of their home defeats was to Sheffield Wednesday as well, wasn't it? So Sheffield, that's when McGinn scored that the goal, but yeah, Sheffield Wednesday got a win here, so Sheffield clubs will be thinking, yeah, if Sheffield Wednesday can do it, why can't we? So but at the moment, I think they are in serious jeopardy of suffering another home defeat. Sheffield United definitely been a better team, but say Dean Smith was thinking, just keep it to 1, get in at half-time, but and then it's up to them then to come out, have a reaction and change the game, change the momentum in this game.
4.5 minutes to play in the first half on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Aston Villa trailing here by a 1-0. Moving forward now with McGinn, who motors, and he was caught late by Basham. Basham was quick to apologise, but it won't spare him the yellow card, and Villa have a free kick, left-hand side about 25 yards out.
Yeah, it's a sore one, but it's one of them where McGinn just overran it, but was quick enough to just get there. But you can see why Basham went into it. It will be a yellow card. It's no more than that, no malice in it. And say defenders don't want to have to play this length of time on a yellow card, but that's it. It's a sore one for McGinn. But this is the opportunities. So Aston Villa haven't been in the game much, still only 1 goal. They've got a free kick now in a dangerous position. Horahan, El Ghazi, someone like that will deliver it in. The big centre halves getting up, Mings, and they're saying put it into that second 6-yard box, we'll go and attack it. But Sheffield United are going to have to stand strong, and he's just lined up his wall here, Henderson. It's one of those areas where El Ghazi could take a shot at a 2-man wall, or Will Horahan be an out-swinging ball in, and these Villa defenders get on it. But wow, if Villa could score now, what a brilliant moment that would be for them, undeserved as well.
Well, El Ghazi can strike it right-footed, or Horahan with the left. If they're going for goal, it will surely be El Ghazi, but it's Horahan who whips it in, and it's an easy claim for Henderson, or he made it look easy.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there, because he's got bodies in and around him. I felt he should have held the first cross that came into the box, and there wasn't that many bodies around him. But this one there, with all those bodies, but his defensive held a high line, and that's where the goalkeeper needs to protect the space as well. And he's done that, and he's gone, he's took it, nice early shout. Little collision with his defenders, but defenders don't mind that when he comes out of it. And Henderson is very highly rated. on loan from Manchester United. People talk, will he be the successor to De Gea? That's how highly rated he is. Did really well at Shrewsbury, already into a big club like this, fighting at the top of the league and good goalkeeping there. And away just took it to ground, just take that bit of pressure off. So dangerous situation for Aston Villa, but well defended by Sheffield.
Well, I saw him make a game-losing error against Leeds in that big game before Christmas when he chased a back pass, gave it away, and Leeds scored the only goal. But he's come back from that very, very well, and that's a sign of character in a young player.
Yeah, and that's why he's out on loan, so he can recover from them, show the character. And as you say, it's not affected him, and yeah, but it was a bad mistake.
Dowell slides in on the turf and leaves a muddy smear just in front of us as he robs Taylor, but Villa have a throw-in, and it's taken quickly by El Ghazi. Now a high lofted ball to the far side to find Alan Hutton, and Villa have grown into the game without really causing too many problems for Sheffield United, but they're not being outplayed in the manner they were in the opening 20 minutes or so. Here is Taylor on this near side, back towards Mings once again. And it's Sheffield United's turn to drop very deep, but their shape is very, very good. And they're very, very fit side as well. I think probably the fittest in the Championship.
Yeah, very fit. And that's credit, again, the training loads must be right that they're peaking for games, because a lot of these players play the majority of the games. So that shows you how good the training is, because you need to peak to play. But you expect when you come to Aston Villa, they're going to have a little spell, they're going to have a bit of possession, but then you have to be organised and just control Aston Villa, even though you haven't got the ball. So despite all the possession, winning a free kick and putting a couple of dangerous balls into the box, they still haven't forced Henderson into a save.
Dowell penalised for a challenge on Taylor on this near side. There's a big crowd inside Villa Park tonight, I would imagine in excess of 30,000, but that can also create pressures, as we've seen for many clubs in recent years, and at the moment I think Villa are finding it a burden.
Yeah, it's difficult, and say the opposition raise it, and they know when they come here, if you can frustrate them, maybe the fans will get a bit frustrated. Also for the opposition walking in, seeing this setup, seeing the tunnel with the European Cup in and everything else, naturally as a player this is where you want to be, but if you want to play for Aston Villa you have to handle that pressure. You have to. A little bit of drizzle coming down now, so make the pitch even slicker.
Here is Codger on this near side, back towards El Ghazi as the challenge came in from Bulldog. El Ghazi's cross is deflected into the path of Codger. Now Hourihane on the edge of the area, but it's very congested. Codger fires in a left-footed shot. It strikes Fleck. Half-hearted appeals for handball. There'll be 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half here on TalkSport 2, with Villa trailing Sheffield United by 1-0 in the Sky Bet Championship. And we have Norwich against Ipswich coming up at noon on Sunday. And a Premier League doubleheader on TalkSport tomorrow. Watford-Everton at 3, Brighton-Burnley at 5:30. A high cross into the penalty area towards the far post now for Villa. It's nodded back across the face of his own goal by Basham before Sheffield United eventually clear. And Billy Sharp shows his frustration as he catches Hourihane. And Villa have a free kick here, 30 yards out, deep into added time at the end of the first half.
Yeah, so Jedinak out on the right wing, put a really dangerous ball in, but again, good positioning from Sheffield United to block the areas, get the contacts on it. But this is another free kick where it's a bit straighter now, but I'm still, again, Mings, Abraham, good aerial threats in there, going to come up, and Sheffield United just need to see this out.
Hourihane takes it quickly, maybe catching them napping, but here is Hutton, who checks back high to the far post, and that cross will catch nobody napping because it's overhit and behind for a goal kick.
And I think they're offside anyway. And I think Dean Smith will be disappointed there, because he got the quality of Hourihane. Why isn't he delivering it? You know, put it into that dangerous area. They scored goals from free kicks last season and this season. And just this time as well, just before half-time, what a massive blow that would have been to Sheffield United. But instead now they're just going to relieve the pressure, and Henderson's going to boom that ball as far up the pitch as possible.
30 seconds of added time to play in the first half, and Aston Villa have a very big 15 minutes coming up in the home dressing room as Mings tangles again with Medine, and Medine looks imploringly towards the assistant on this near side, but nothing was given, and Villa have a throw-in. Mings, on loan from Bournemouth, swings a high ball wide to the far side, the right. Hutton will try and deliver the ball forward. It's early looking for Abraham, who does well to control the ball on his chest, but nipping in is eager to make the challenge, and that is half-time. And there are 1 or 2 boos around Villa Park, but not from the Sheffield United fans, because their team deservedly lead here by 1-0. Billy Sharp scoring in the 11th minute, turning in a far post header from Gary Medine. There could and maybe should have been more goals for the Blades, but Aston Villa have created very, very little in response. As it stands, Sheffield United are going back on top of the Championship. At half-time, they lead at Villa Park by 1-0.
Nigel Adderley, thank you on TalkSport 2 Live. The 20th goal of the season. Who else? Billy Sharp giving the Blades the lead, as Nigel rightly mentioned. And Matt Murray, our summariser tonight, the former Wolves keeper. You've got to say Chris Wilder's side are excellent value for that half-time lead as well.
They've been dominating the game. They got the goal, and even when Aston Villa, as Nigel said, they started to get back into the game a little bit. Sheffield United weren't getting as much possession, dominating it, but whenever Aston Villa did get the ball, they didn't really hurt Sheffield United, so they've looked good if they've nicked it in counter-attack. They look good when they've had control possession. They dominated the first 10 minutes and deservedly went ahead, looked solid defensively. So yeah, Chris Wilder has got a really, really good system, a real good identity to his team, and they deserve this. And that's why I think those Aston Villa fans are frustrated, because they know that their team have been second best, but also it's only 1-0, you're right in it, and Dean Smith, will he change things personnel-wise? I'm not sure, but I'm surely he's going to make a few more tweaks, because they need, even though they were doing a little bit better towards the end of the half, they need to do a lot more if they're going to get back into this game.
Matt, you made that very point at the top of just before the game started. It's all about how Dean Smith works out how he's going to negate the way that Sheffield United do their thing. And as you pointed out, you and I, during the commentary, we did see like the middle third of the game did belong to Villa, but they seem to lack a certain amount. Do they lack pace? Positivity? What's not quite there? Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that belief, but because of how hard Sheffield United work to get back into shape, and then they have this back five, if you like. So when they're in possession, they get bodies forward, and like we were saying, the two centre halves, the right and left of the three, end up putting crosses in and stuff. But when they lose the ball, they get straight back in. Everyone gets back in. So Aston Villa score a lot of goals from crosses, but because the wing backs are tracking back and getting in to make the five, then even when the big switches are made, that they're able to get there and stop the crosses. When the crosses have come in the box, then they've got the first contact on them. So I think they need to try and dominate possession a bit more rotation in midfield, be more clinical if they nick it and win the ball back. But maybe they've got to try and play more centrally and get runners in from beyond. Can McGinn go and join in? Because Tammy Abraham is so isolated. He's just feeding off scraps, trying to win things, chase things down. But I think they need more slickness to their play. They need to get closer to Sheffield United and then try and win it when they're a bit more open. But still, there's only one goal. They've forced a couple of set pieces. Something like that could get back into it. But I'm sure, I just think they've got to lock on higher as well. Just press higher and not let Sheffield United dominate the ball so much.
The aforementioned Tammy Abraham scored 12 in his last 7 at Villa Park, but as Matt rightly said, just living off scraps in that first period. Aston Villa, no shots on target in that first period at Villa Park as well, suggesting why those boos came at half-time. And I've loved the width that Chris Wilder's side have played with. Down both flanks, the wing-backs bombing on, stretching Aston Villa and pushing your likes of El Ghazi and your likes of Jonathan Kodjia the wrong way, the way they don't want to go, Matt.
Exactly, the way they don't want to go. And there's been times when Ender Stevens bombed on, you can see Kodjia think, I've got to chase all the way back. But when those wing-backs get it, overlapping is either Basham or I think it's Bulldog. No, Egan. They're overlapping them. So they get the ball. No, O'Connell, sorry. O'Connell and Basham overlap the wing-backs.
Just leaves Egan by himself, doesn't it, at times?
Yeah, and then maybe one of this Fleck or Norwood might drop in. But it's a desire, and that creates overloads, balls into the box, some nice intricate play. You saw the shot from Bulldog. Those wing-backs of Sheffield United score goals and get a lot of assists. They really, really do, and they work so hard. But like Nigel was saying, they must get... They're so fit. This team is so fit because they work so hard up and down the pitch, really expansive. And when you've got Fleck and Norwood who have that range of passing, Norwood, one step, boom, just like a sat-nav on that right foot and just switches the play. And it's so difficult for Aston Villa switching. But, you know, the possession's been dominated. In the first bit, there's so much possession. But, as you say, not one shot on target for Aston Villa. So credit to Sheffield United. But Villa need to do something, you know, big time to get back into this game. But as I say, at 1-0, it's, you know, still so tight.
Going to put a copyright on that. The Matt Murray tracer bullet sound effect.
Boom! Boom!
Too live. Matt, get yourself some refreshments half-time. Thank you, pal. Matt Murray, our summariser, in place at Villa Park for a second-half commentary coming very shortly. They could be Sheffield United 45 minutes away from 3 points to take them back to the summit of the Sky Bet Championship this evening. Check the latest odds with the game with Sky Bet.
The Form Guide on TalkSport 2. with Sky Bet. It's betting better.
Mark, how do these sound to you? In play with Sky Bet. Full-time results this moment in time. You can still get Aston Villa win 6-1, draw 5-2, Sheffield United 2-5. Some in-play price boosts that might take your fancy. Tammy Abraham to score the game's second goal. Currently boosted out to 11-2 at this moment in time. Maybe Gary Medine, the Blade striker, to score the second goal of the game. 11-1. Billy Sharp to score a brace this evening. Right now 3-1 with Sky Bet. Correct score, Sheffield United to run out 2-0 winners tonight at Villa Park. 5-1. And both teams to score in the second period at Villa Park. In-play price boost with Sky Bet right now 5-2. The odds update all thanks to Sky Bet. For betting better, join Sky Bet today. 18 plus T's and C's apply. Bet the responsible way. BeGambleAware.org.
The Form Guide on TalkSport 2 with Sky Bet. It's betting better.
Half-time at Villa Park. Going all the way of Chris Wilder's side at this moment in time.
The Form Guide on TalkSport 2 with Sky Bet. It's betting better.
Now Sharp quickly finding Baldock on the edge of the penalty area. Low shot from him, beaten away by Kalinic, and then hacked away on this near side. Norwood's corner, high to the far post. Medine rises, it's back into the penalty area, appeals it across the line, and the goal has been given. And it's Billy Sharp yet again for Sheffield United. And when he scores, they never seem to lose. Here is Egan now, but he's lost out to Abraham. Abraham will look to take on the last man, but it was a wonderful challenge from O'Connell, who came in with his wrong foot, but he got across Abraham and won the ball cleanly. Sheffield United clear, only as far as Hutton. A high ball in from him, and it was Abraham with a far post header, which is wide, but it's the closest Villa have come by some distance so far.
They need to get the goals, they need Grealish back, but they just don't look anywhere near it at the moment. And but this is where, if he wants to be a top manager, this is where Smith's got to earn, really earn his money now and change this and get his team back into it.
And that is half-time, and there are one or two boos around Villa Park. As it stands, Sheffield United are going back on top of the Championship at half-time. They lead at Villa Park by 1-0.
TalkSport 2 Live.
Time to let Homebase fill your home with colour with our fantastic paint deals. Right now, we've got 2 for £22 on 2.5 litre Crown Breathe Easy coloured emulsion. And there's 10 litre Crown Soft Grey emulsion at only £15 or 2 for just £25. Homebase, make your house a home. Excludes Pure Brilliant White clearance outlets and closure stores in store only.
In the Sun one day, Mum saw an ad. 2 free tickets to Chessington. That's not bad. She collected 9 Sun Savers codes in a hurry. In no time at all, they were in Surrey. We saw lions, giraffes and a huge gorilla. Then we rode the vampire. That was a thriller. Pick up the Sun tomorrow and start collecting your codes for Chessington with Super Days. Plus experience new Room on the Broom and Magical Journey.
Will my travel be affected when we leave the EU?
What about documents for driving? Will mobile roaming change?
Will my travel be affected when we leave?
Should I check my travel insurance?
You might also have questions about how leaving the EU on the 29th of March will affect you. Find guidance and up-to-date information at gov.uk/EU exit.
He's only been on the pitch for a second. What a performance from the substitute.
Every great team needs a super sub, someone ready to slot in when they're needed. That's why if your van is off the road needing warranty work of more than 3 hours, we'll arrange a courtesy van to keep your business moving. Your very own super sub. Get your team back on track. Renault Pro Plus, now with 0% hire purchase finance. Business users only. Renault Finance hire purchase subject to status. Orders by 31st of March. Registrations by 30th of June. T's and C's apply. Visit Renault.co.uk/commitment. Get your team back on track. Renault Pro Plus.
Did you know that there are 122 languages in India? Or that in Singapore you can visit the world's first night zoo? And that you'll find more bicycles in Beijing than in Amsterdam? But here's the most amazing thing to know. With Lufthansa's attractive fares, you can fly to Asia from £399, subject to availability. Book by February 10th for travel starting from February 11th. Contact your travel agent or visit lufthansa.com. Conditions apply.
Say yes to the world. Lufthansa.
Dad!
Dads. They're often the first person in the firing line when the Wi-Fi isn't working. But with BT Complete Wi-Fi, only we guarantee a signal in every room. Billy can fight ogres in the bedroom, Becky can watch her beauty vloggers in the bathroom, and Mum can do whatever she likes, wherever she likes, naturally. Join today. It's $39.99 a month on an 18-month contract with $9.99 delivery. BT customers can upgrade with BT Plus. BT, be there.
New customers, CPI increase starting 2020. $44.49 a month for month 19, up to 3 discs to guarantee Wi-Fi or £20 off your bill.
They're the sporting rivalries that grip a nation.
The crowd have just gone delirious.
Transcend pure competition.
Just phenomenal.
And define their sport for a generation.
Reunited from TalkSport is a series of interviews that brings together iconic sporting personalities for an exclusive and candid conversation. Reunited, the podcast.
Champion jockeys AP McCoy and Richard Johnson weigh in to talk horses, hurdles, and one of the most enduring racing rivalries on planet Turf. Reunited with AP McCoy and Richard Johnson.
Back in the saddle on TalkSport. Download the podcast now.
You're listening to TalkSport 2 Live.
Well, things going pretty perfectly right now for Chris Wilder and Sheffield United. Half-time at Villa Park on your home of the EFL. In the Sky Bet Championship, Aston Villa 0. Sheffield United won 3 points. Right now, it will take the Blades back to the summit of the Championship table. Don't forget a double-header of Premier League action over on TalkSport for you tomorrow from 3. The Marco Silva derby, almost. Watford versus Everton from 3. And then from 5:30, it's Brighton hosting Burnley. Here on TalkSport 2, well, of course, we're back in the Caribbean. Marco Silva derby.
You overshot and pulled away by Campbell for the winning runs.
Barbados took a hell of a lot out of them coming into this test match, and you've seen it. And I think England are as close to rock bottom as you could possibly get.
You know, you're not going to win many games when you score less than 200 twice. Simple as that, really. I think we've got to improve with the bat. We've got to find ways of making bigger scores, especially first innings, in these conditions.
Here goes Moeen. Bravo comes down the pitch, hits down towards long off, and it beats the fielder.
They didn't come here and expect this. And after what would have taken place in Barbados, they're under the pump, man. Great to see as a West Indian.
Quite a lot of disappointment. Obviously, we came here wanting to play good cricket and to try and win the series, and we've fallen well short of that. It's a lot of pride to play for, and hopefully we can put in a performance which does ourselves more justice.
A bit of a cut among Stuart Broad. He's got 2 in 4 balls.
1 o'clock, the build-up in St Lucia. Got a friend out there as well. Just popped out there to catch the 3rd test.
Well,
very fortunate.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be brutally honest with you, if you're going to get beaten 3-zip, you might as well be there being beaten 3-zip.
Look, if it wasn't for the infinity pool and the wonderful weather and the cheap lager, I'm sure he'd be having a disgraceful time out there. But our excellent team out there.
In cricket when the West Indies are playing well anyway. I have no major moral dilemma with them being good because it's fun to see.
But Joe Root's side, Hunter Consolation, starting tomorrow, first day of the 3rd test in St Lucia. We got the news, we brought to you it live on TalkSport 2 earlier. England have dropped wicketkeeper Ben Folkes. We called Keaton Jennings for the final test. Folkes, who didn't keep wicket in the 2nd test after injuring his hand, was fit to play in St Lucia, not named in the 12-man squad though. Of course, Jennings coming back in after being dropped for the 2nd test in Antigua. So there'll be a shuffle at the top of the order.
They will, but obviously they're trying to...
And in the middle order. It's going to be all over. And we also don't know if Ben Stokes is going to be fit.
Exactly right. He's possibly hurt. And we know that our middle order starts at 3 because basically no one wants to bat there, which is surely Joe Root's position. But Keaton Jennings earns himself a place back, and I think I use the term earns loosely. He's almost a default selection, I think, in there at the top. They've got his number. I mean, to our advantage is this amazing fact that the skipper Holder has been dropped for slow over rate.
Yeah.
They beat us in less than 3 days. I mean, quite how long do they want a test match to last?
Mark Nicholas, Darren Gough leading our team from 1 p.m. Our build-up underway. First day of the 3rd test in St Lucia, live and exclusive here on TalkSport 2. Let's get back to Villa Park then. Aston Villa, they have to improve, don't they? Second period action on your home of the EFL, alongside our summariser Matt Murray, match commentator Nigel Adderley.
Yes, thank you, Dan. Good evening once again from Villa Park. Both sides out for the second half doing their shuttle runs in front of us. And there looks to be no changes to either side, Matt.
Yeah, no changes, yeah. So I was watching there and all the players are doing the fast feet, but Elphick didn't do it for whatever reason.
Maybe he hasn't got any.
Yeah, so I was thinking there's only 9 outfield players there and Elphick was over there, but Sheffield, that's what I was thinking. There might be a tweak though in formation to what Aston Villa are doing, because everyone's there and we're all chatting off air in the press room, and Sheffield United are dominating this. They really are, and how are Aston Villa going to get back into it? I don't think that they're matching. I don't think Aston Villa are matching Sheffield United's energy levels and work rate as well, and that's something that shouldn't happen. But they've got to get closer to them. We've got to press them better. But Sheffield United have been absolutely fantastic. The goal was only in by centimetres, but it was well deserved. But yeah, at the moment, D. Smith has said, right, you guys are in this situation. Can you get us out of it? But sooner or later, he's going to have to turn to his bench.
And interestingly, watching the replays of the goal, Tammy Abraham was the player who tried to clear the ball off the line when Billy Sharp scored. It wasn't too far over the line, but Abraham was stood behind the line as he tried to clear it. If he'd stood on the goal line, it wouldn't have been a goal.
And you see that all the time in training, in matches, and you speak to players, why are you doing that? But they don't mean to do it. They just end up in that position, lose their sort of geography, if you like, of where they are. But yeah, if he'd literally been slightly further forward, he would have kept it out. But Sheffield United won't care.
And we are underway in the second half. Aston Villa in their claret shirts with blue trim, white shorts and sky blue socks, attacking the Holt end away to our right-hand side. Sheffield United in their high visibility yellow shirts, black shorts and yellow socks. And Chris Wilder and Alan Neil, their management team, just complaining that Billy Sharp didn't get a free kick following a challenge from Elphick, as it's cleared long downfield for Villa on this near side, and it's gathered by Henderson. The two sides again, Kalinic in goal for Villa, Hutton, Mings, Elphick and Taylor. Jelinek, McGinn in midfield with El Ghazi, Hourahan, Kodja and Abraham completing their starting lineup. For Sheffield United, Henderson in goal, Basham, Egan, O'Connell, Baldock and Stevens the wide players, Fleck, Norwood and Dowell in midfield with Sharp and Medine in attack. And in the press room at half-time, talking to many of our local colleagues, Matt, not too many people were hugely impressed with Jonathan Kodja in the first half.
Well, he hasn't really, hasn't created too much, and coming into back into the team, he'd have thought he'd want to do it more. Going out on the right-hand side, he was a little bit more of a threat, but I don't think
he wants to play down the centre, doesn't he?
He does, and he doesn't want to play in these wide areas, and maybe a Dolma will come on, but I think everyone was just very complimentary of Sheffield United, weren't they, and saying, you know, they deserved their lead, they've been the better team, and they couldn't believe that Aston Villa hadn't even managed to muster one shot on target. But yeah, I think there's a few Aston Villa players really that haven't been up to the level. I think El Ghazi's been poor. I think he's done enough.
It's Hourahan coming forward now, slid low towards El Ghazi on the edge of the penalty area, and he's robbed far too easily by Dowell, who now brings it forward. Only had Billy Sharp ahead of him, so he tries to hold on to the ball, but Dowell is a fairly slight, willowy figure, and El Ghazi comes back and makes the challenge and finds his goalkeeper Kalinic.
And that's what you have to do. You have to work hard and get the ball, and that's what Sheffield United have been doing. But it's interesting here, Sheffield United are not pressing at the moment. Aston Villa having a bit more possession, working it around. But when they did have those spells towards the end of the second half, they didn't hurt Sheffield United because they're so organised. They get into the slots, and they've ended up forcing Aston Villa all the way back to their goalkeeper there, and they've not got anywhere. So Sheffield United's possession was with much more of a purpose. I still haven't seen too much of a tweak in this yet of what Aston Villa are doing differently formation-wise. Is it a bit more? Because do you think Abraham was just far too isolated in the first half?
Yeah. He hardly saw the ball, and every ball he did see was a fight ball between himself, Egan and O'Connell. And he lost most of those, and it's not really his game. He plays on the shoulder, and he needs service. Here is McGinn with a high ball wide to the far side as the drizzle becomes heavier here at Villa Park at the start of the second half. 48 minutes played, 1-0 to Sheffield United. Billy Sharp with the goal, his 21st of the season after 11 minutes, and it should have been followed by more. Here is Abraham now, slides it into the area, but beyond both Hutton and Codger. And now Fleck will try and clear. He was caught by McGinn, but the referee allows play to continue, and Norwood plays a good ball forward towards Medine. Cutting in field now from the left-hand side. Right foot shot from him, though. It's a comfortable save for Kalinic.
Yeah, so good advantage there from the referee. But what was interesting was Medine was trying to work a shot, but I don't know if you saw Billy Sharp and Mings are just trying to keep getting the run on each other. It was a good bit of movement there from Billy Sharp.
Now El Ghazi cutting in field from the right-hand side. Looks to hit the byline. High cross to the far post, and rising to nod the ball away was O'Connell, and it will be a throw-in for Aston Villa, a couple of yards from the corner flag. On the far side there left, as they attack the Holt end in the second half here at Villa Park. Codger spins on the left corner of the penalty area, and will now try and take on Basham. Back towards Taylor, and further wide to Horahan, but Villa's general play remains rather laboured, as Horahan plays it in field towards Jedinak with that sculpted achievement beard. Wide to this near side, and Hutton infield again from El Ghazi towards Jedinak. A poor ball though up towards the edge of the area, aim for Abraham and easily cut out, and Sheffield United will try and clear now, but Norwood in this attempt to sweep it wide to this near side, and Sharp catches Jedinak, and it's a free kick taken by Elphick, but too quickly according to the referee.
Yeah, ball just moving slightly there, but a bit more tempo there, a bit more tempo from Aston Villa, but still not had that shot on target. But the whole end will be trying to, will efforts on this Sheffield United goal.
Codger on the far side, the left infield towards Horahan, who maybe thought about the shot with the left foot, but instead goes wide towards El Ghazi down the right. Now further wide towards Hutton. Here is El Ghazi again. The cross is stabbed in. McGinn challenges for it, and Sheffield United just about dig it out. Egan was in there. Here is Jedinak. The crowd urge him to shoot. It's laid into the path of McGinn, and now Hutton comes forward. He slides it into the area, looking for Abraham, and it's cleared long downfield again by O'Connell towards this near side. Billy Sharp will get there before Mings. Just slips slightly, but finds Dowell. Dowell plays it forward towards Medine, who has time to control on the chest and play it wide to the far side, and Bulldog, who breaks towards the edge of the penalty area. His low ball in, looking for Medine, and he tried to clip the ball in at the near post. It was blocked by Elphick, and Medine's long wait for a goal almost came to an end there.
Yeah, fantastic play from Sheffield United. They get areas into the box, bodies into the box. They get bodies, forward into wide areas, and they put quality crosses in. Great movement from Medine, just held his space, got across, and I'm sure that would have been goal bound, but brilliant challenge from Elphick. I like the play out here, how Medine went and got tight how Mings got tight to Billy Sharp. And tell you what, Mings, I know Aston Villa haven't been great, but Mings has been very impressive. I like the way he moves, I like closing things down and trying to prove a point.
Medine with a lovely touch and turn down this near side. Bulldog with the cross into the penalty area, over the head of Billy Sharp, but Stevens will do well to keep the ball in play on this near side, which he does. Now he has Fleck in support, but it's back towards Norwood, 25 yards out down the left-hand side, but a rarity, a poor ball from him, and Villa are able to clear, and now a smart spin and turn from Abraham, lays it wide to the far side, and Codger. Abraham sprints towards the edge of the penalty area, and then Codger goes down looking for a free kick as he was caught by O'Connell, and the referee not interested.
I think it was Basham. He went across him, and he's already on a yellow card, so it would have been an interesting one if he had have been given, and the fans are thinking it was a foul. But to be fair, Codger isn't arguing too much, is he? He's just coming back, where if he felt it was foul, then you'd think he'd be arguing more. But good play, because it all started with excellent play from Abraham.
Dowell now coming forward for Sheffield United. He's got support from Medine ahead of him, wide to the far side, the right, and Bulldog. Medine and Sharp wait in the centre. It's back towards Dowell, who strikes it left-footed. It's blocked by Kalinic. It's looped towards goal by Medine. It's off the post, and it's turned in by Billy Sharp. And Sheffield United are surely heading to the top of the championship. They lead by 2-0. Billy Sharp has them both, but the boos ring around Villa Park. For Aston Villa, the Premier League must feel further away than ever.
Kalinic, you can go and argue all you like. He didn't have the ball under control, so I'm not surprised. If I was in goal, I'd be disappointed, trying to hope they'd be disallowed. The referee's made his decision, but what Billy Sharp has showed with both of his goals, he's a poacher. He's just always expecting something might come off the goalkeeper or drop for him, but it came in. Kalinic, difficult one, should he have done better, but Medine was onto it. Awkward header back in, wasn't it? It was strange. It went
Kalinic have got the header.
Well, it went in slow motion. shouldn't have seen the wrong foot, Kalinic, go over him, and I thought he should have then held it, but then he's hoping the referee's going to help him out, but Billy Sharp did not give it up, puts his foot in there, it's been given, and that next goal was always going to be key. Sheffield United going to get it. It's been a good start to the half. Billy Sharp gets his second goal, and it's a proper poacher's goal, and real big ass now for Aston Villa.
53 minutes played, Aston Villa 0, Sheffield United 2, and Billy Sharp was offside when the first shot came in. I suppose the question is, active areas and that sort of thing in phases of play, and the assistant referee on the far side had a long time to think about it and kept the flag down.
He did, but it seemed like the Villa players were arguing for a foul on the goalkeeper. They weren't appealing for offside, so it'd be interesting. But again, all the VAR and everything else coming back in. But I don't think you can really argue that Sheffield United have been they've been the better team.
Now Dowell wins it back again, and Medine so close to ending his 13-month wait for a goal, but he's had a role in both of them as Dowell allows the ball to run on the edge of the penalty area. It doesn't quite find Sharp, and you get the feeling if Villa aren't careful, this could get very, very ugly for them.
Well, they're going to have to go for it more, and Sheffield United have got the players to counter-attack to score more goals, but again, 2-0 is a dangerous scoreline because you make it 2-1, you're right back into it. If Wilder then goes to his bench and brings a like McGoldrick on as well, then yeah, you could see Sheffield United, and they've taken it to many teams, and they obviously won 4-1 earlier on in the season. If they could get a double over Aston Villa, that would be brilliant for them.
Now McGinn on the edge of the area, Horahan wide to this near side, but between both Hutton and El Ghazi, it's out of play, and you can hear what the home crowd feel about it. The two benches for Villa steer the goalkeeper, El Mohammadi, Courtney Howes, Glenn Whelan, Birkir Bjarnason, Albert Adoma and Andre Green. I mean, Andre Green could be maybe a player they could throw on, a young striker who's had some horrible problems with injuries. For Sheffield United, Simon Moore, their goalkeeper, Richard Stearman, Mark Duffy, Connor Washington, David McGoldrick and Martin Craney. Scott Hogan unavailable for this game, of course, the player they signed on loan, but you look at the depth they have for strikers. They've got Medine out there with Sharp at the moment, they've got McGoldrick and Washington on the bench and Hogan to come in, and you look at what Villa have got.
Yeah, well, obviously, and they let Leon Clark go, which shows you the strength of what Billy Sharp, of what Sheffield United have. And Billy Sharp, he always wondered, could he score a lot of goals at level, but he's been brilliant. But Aston Villa, they haven't really got those options. Green had a indifferent loan spell, I think, at Portsmouth. I've seen him here cause trouble, score goals. I think Keenan Davis hit the ground running when he first came into the team, but he's not really been fit. But I think Chris Wilder's got goals in the team, and more often than not, the teams that can score a lot of goals are the ones that go on and get promoted.
And our producer Guy points out that goal for Billy Sharp was his 100th for Sheffield United. An incredible record. And that record looks set to continue, that when he scores, they don't lose. It will be 47 games if they don't lose this one, as Hutton goes down inside the area, looking for a penalty, but it's brought clear by Stevens. And now Norwood finds Medine on this near side. And as the game becomes stretched, you just get the feeling Sheffield United could pick Villa off when they choose.
Yeah, they can. They've definitely got the ability to do it. They've got the quality to do it. They're clinical. But it's like you said, Medine, he's not prolific, is he? But he has been really good in his role. He's been a handful. He got the assist. He's got two assists, isn't he? The one, both with headers and putting himself about. And he's played on Elphick more, it feels like. And Billy Sharp's fed off it, and it's a little and large partnership.
7 games if they don't lose this one, as Hutton goes down inside the area, looking for a penalty, but it's brought clear by Stevens. And now Norwood finds Medine on this near side, and as the game becomes stretched, you just get the feeling Sheffield United could pick at Villa Park, and 1 win in 8 overall. And Horahan is over the free kick. There's a long way to go in this game. We're only 13 minutes into the second half. Dean Smith in conversation with John Terry and Richard O'Kelly, his coaching team. And Horahan, left-footed, the free kick high in towards that near post. Challenging was Codger. McGinn fires it through the crowd, but it was blocked by Egan. Headed back in by Horahan. There was momentary confusion before it's hammered clear by Stevens towards the far side. And Aston Villa could almost do with John Terry out there, providing some leadership at least, because at times they do look rudderless.
Yeah, and that's what you do as players. They have to work it out for themselves, and someone has to take control of it. If you want to play for Aston Villa out here, and he's a massive club on a big stage. You have to take the, go and take the bull by the horns, is that the expression? Go and do it and make things happen for your team, and at the moment, no one's been able to do that for Villa.
McGinn's ball forward doesn't find Hutton, who then slides in with a heavy challenge on O'Connell, and the Sheffield United players are not happy about that at all. And Tony Harrington is going to at least have a word here, and it's a yellow card for Alan Hutton.
A frustrated challenge. That's what that is, a frustrated challenge, and he's left one on him there, and so it is no more than a yellow card, but that's what it is. Alan Hutton's thinking, I don't like this. We're Aston Villa here, and we're getting dominated. When I'm trying to get forward, I can't get crosses in the box. And it's been really, really difficult for this whole Aston Villa team. It started the half with a little bit more urgency, but obviously Sheffield United got that goal, and then since then, I don't see what Aston Villa are really trying to do. He's talk about, I talk about an identity, and when you do your coaching badges.
What is their style of play?
I'm not sure now. I'm really not sure.
That was an accusation here under Steve Bruce. The Villa fans would say, what is our style of play? We don't know. And it's early days under Dean Smith, we know that. But you can't actually say that they're one thing or the other.
No, under when they had Grealish and early on, I could see things that they're trying to do, a bit of width, and you'd look at some of the stats and they score a lot of goals from crosses, but I don't think they're pressing particularly well and not counter-attacking. I'm not sure really what they're trying to do.
Elphick heads away on the edge of the penalty area. Medine, though, gets there before McGinn, who's been a good signing for Aston Villa, but he's been very average tonight at times, but he's not alone. Here is Stevens finding Norwood, and now O'Connell for Sheffield United, just in front of us here on this near side, their left. An hour played at Villa Park on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. And at the moment, Sheffield United are heading to the top of the EFL, leading here by 2-0. Billy Sharp with both of them. Now Bulldog drives across into the area, which is helped away at the near post by Jedinak and cleared downfield. Fleck will hook it back over the top again. Medine controls, tries to hook it forward for Sharp, but Mings is able to knock the ball clear once again. Now it's headed wide to the far side by Abraham, but Abraham was far too deep really to really affect the game, and Sheffield United have it back once again. Norwood finding Bulldog, and here is Basham now. Clips it over the top again for Kieran Dowell, who is onside, and he can break into the penalty area. Sharp is waiting for the hat-trick, and he delivers! Billy Sharp with a header! It's yet another hat-trick for Billy Sharp, and Sheffield United are heading to the top of the championship. It's another outstanding goal from the league's outstanding team at the moment, and Aston Villa simply cannot live with them.
Well, you talk about identity, what are Aston Villa trying to do? Well, I know what Sheffield United are trying to do, and they attack with so much quality, fluidity, pass, move, runners off the ball. And I know Medine will not get an assist there, but it's a brilliant run from Dow. But you watch Medine, he peels around the penalty spot, which distracts Aston Villa defenders. Sharp just moves in at the back. He's a natural goal scorer. He loves scoring goals. Watching the warm-up, love hitting the net. He's got the simplest of tasks again. All his finishes are in from about 2 or 3 yards out. Hat-trick, taking the ball home again. But I could have clipped up for you there, if I was an analyst, Villa players pressing as individuals. You just said that. One team is a unit, one team is individuals, and they're all running out, getting popped off. They turned at the tempo at the right time. Real quality. Brilliant ball from Dow. And, well, Billy Sharp gets his hat-trick, and he's living the dream. He's a Sheffield United fan, and he's scored over 100 goals now for his boyhood team. And, wow, they will be top of the league going into the weekend. Pressure over to you, Leeds, over to you, Norwich City.
And what a week for Billy Sharp. It was his birthday on Wednesday, 33 years of age. Many people might be considering him in the veteran class, but he's getting better the older he gets.
He is, and he's worked hard as well and done things, but when you're scoring goals, you've got other people in the team doing a lot more of the running, but he just gets into the right areas, and he's a natural goal scorer, and that experience, he's just got that intuition of where the ball's going to drop, where he should move to. He's constantly on the move, and look, he's been absolutely fantastic. And you talk about certain teams, like maybe Alan Hutton, you thought might be on his way out of Aston Villa. There've been a few times when you thought maybe Billy Sharp might be on his way out, but he's just scored those goals.
Or he might be done.
Yeah,
at
this level. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure how he'd do at this level. I thought maybe he's taking the team up and not be able to do it. But I tell you what, he's been absolutely fantastic, and one of the best goal scorers since in the new millennium.
Well, his second hat-trick of the season, he scored another one against Wigan at home earlier in the campaign. And what a record, 22 goals this season. There's going to be a double change for Aston Villa, but surely the game has gone. And this is going to be their heaviest defeat since their days in the Premier League.
It is, and it's a real statement one. At home. Yeah, but this is, you know, the Sheffield United have beaten Aston Villa 4-1 at their place. Now they're 3-0 up here. What a statement.
And here is Dowell coming forward again, looking for Sharp yet again, but this time the cross is blocked by Elphick, and Dowell goes over Elphick's challenge, but there was no question of a penalty.
It wasn't, but I tell you what, there were not many teams come to Villa Park and do a job on them like this. I'm telling you, they've been absolutely brilliant.
You hear the crowd.
Yeah,
they have turned.
Yeah, but they're getting frustrated, and I feel sorry for Whelan and Green coming on now, but these Aston Villa players can't give up. If you're going to play for Aston Villa, you have to keep going to the end, try and get some positives out of it. It's a shame, looks like there's a bit of trouble there, because these Sheffield United fans should be enjoying it, shouldn't be any trouble, but Sheffield United, their team have been brilliant.
The police and stewards are just moving in on the far side to sort something out. Jonathan Codger is the first player off, and Andre Green comes on to make his 6th appearance of the season, and it's Glenn Whelan who comes on and Mile Jedinak who comes off, so that's really like for like.
It is, and I don't know what it is it damage limitations? What are they thinking now? I mean, this game really, you thought that once the 3rd goal, that's it, it's over now, but Aston Villa have to try and come away with some positives. They need to go to Brentford in midweek. They've got some big games coming up, West Brom as well, and you know, it's still not over this season, but by the end of the week, you know, the weekend, they could be well off the playoffs.
Well, they're currently 4 points away, and if they lose this game, then they're 3-0 down. They could be 7 points away by the end of the weekend, and 15 games to go. They currently have 43 points. They will probably need 30 points from their last 15 games, and that is a really big ask when you're out of form now.
It is, and they need Grealish back.
At least 30 points.
They need Grealish back, and they need Tuanzebe back. They are two massive players for them.
A couple of Villa fans are leaving already. 65 minutes played. Sheffield United lead here by 3-0, and it's Billy Sharp who has all of the goals so far from a combined distance of about 6 yards.
Yeah, and he will not care one jot. He will love it. And he'll be the first one to say, yes, he's putting the balls in the net, he'll be getting the glory, but this is a real team effort, and the assists, and he's been there, but his team will work so hard for him.
El Ghazi works it wide to this near side, and Hutton and Villa have been so impotent in the second half when they bring the ball forward. El Ghazi does deliver the cross, and it was a decent one, which was nodded away by Basham, and then volleyed clear by Stevens up towards this near side. It finds Sharp on halfway, who uses his barrel chest to shrug off Hutton, but in the end Villa win it back, and they will try and build themselves here, but surely the game has gone. And maybe Dean Smith knows this at the start of a very big week. He goes back to Brentford on Tuesday for what should be a fairly highly charged occasion, and then West Bromwich Albion are here next Saturday. El Ghazi square towards McGinn, who tries to lay it into the path of Hutton on this near side, and McGinn has not had a good night. It's overhit, it's out of play, it's a throw to Sheffield United, and fans are leaving here now.
They are leaving, and you can never fault McGinn's work rate. A lot of the Aston Villa players has not been anywhere near it. That's because Sheffield United haven't given him any time, any space. McGoldrick's going to come on now. I wonder there might be a change. Will it be Sharp? Will it be
this near side? And McGinn has not had a good night. It's overhit, it's out of play, it's a throw to Sheffield United, and fans are leaving here now.
They are leaving, and you can never fault McGinn's work rate, but I think the quality of a lot of the Aston Villa players has not been anywhere near it. That's because Sheffield United haven't given him.
Square towards McGinn, who tries to lay it into the path of Hutton on this near side, and McGinn has not had a good night. It's overhit, it's out of play, it's a throw to Sheffield United, and fans are leaving here now.
They are leaving, and you can never fault McGinn's work rate, but I think the quality of a lot of the Aston Villa players has not been anywhere near it. That's because Sheffield United haven't given him any time, any space. McGoldrick's going to come on now. I wonder there might be a change. Will it be Sharp? Will it be Medine? But he'll want to. Is it Medine? Yeah. He thought again he'd rest people up depth. Where have they improved from last season? Well, the fact that you can take Medine off, who was moving for, was it 6 million he went to Cardiff for.
He did, yeah, for Bolton, yeah.
You take him off and bring on McGoldrick, all right, on a free out of Ipswich, but still a very talented player, very accomplished at his level, scores a lot of goals, and that's the difference. But they all work so hard, and when they've got in positions, and I think because of the pressure, and they may, as you say, they crumbled last season, they'll have learned from that. Let's not let it happen again. And the managers learned from it. What we also said was, would Aston Villa be able to change anything at half-time? Tactics-wise, personnel-wise, well, they've been totally, I think they've been worse this half.
Absolutely, and the changes have not really made a massive difference. It's like for like in both areas.
And they were probably too late for those players to come on, but not even a change in tactics, was there? Of the press, of movement, anything. He just thought they've sort of accepted it a little bit. I know that won't be the case, but that's what it looks like a bit.
McGinn has won the ball from Fleck on this near side, charging forward into the area, and he was clipped right on the edge of the area by Stevens. And it's a free kick to Aston Villa, and another half a yard, that would have been a penalty.
Yeah, it would have been, and Chris Wilder, he's fuming and nil down there. They're thinking that was never a foul, but it's been given. They've got to make it count, because Henderson, he's not really got his kit dirty.
There's a safety steward talking to the fourth official, David Webb, down there. Not too sure what is going on. Things seem to have calmed down on the far side, but there's a very heavy police presence all around the Sheffield United supporters in the lower tier, directly opposite us. But Villa have a free kick here. And now Dean Smith is having a conversation with David Webb. And Chris Wilder also offers an opinion. Hourihane is over the free kick. And it's ideal here for the left-footed curler, which he does. It's deflected, and it's an excellent save by Dean Henderson, and it's the first save he's had to make with 70 minutes played.
And if Sheffield United are going to go up and they're going to dominate games like this, that's what you need your goalkeeper to do. He's been underemployed. He hasn't had much to do. He's been pretty redundant all night, but there he's lined his wall up. There were bodies of Aston Villa in the wall. You could see Neil Cutler, the Aston Villa goalie coach, saying get bodies in his eye line. Hourihane, was it, whipped it there. They ducked. He saw it late. He got two strong hands to it. But again, at the other end, when things are spilt by Kalinic, Sheffield United onto it first there. Sheffield United defenders there helping out.
Now Abraham coming forward. There was an untidy challenge there made by John Egan, and that will be another yellow card for Sheffield United. And Abraham, credit to him, he's not shirking, he's not hiding. He was trying to carry the fight there, and he was caught by the hip by Egan.
Yeah, it looks like a sore one, but I think there's a few players for Aston Villa that I think will take quite a bit of credit from this game. I think Tyrone Mings, even though they've conceded 3, I think he looks athletic, mobile, even just little cushion headers down, he's kept going. And Tammy Abraham fed off scraps, but he's kept going, he's kept linking up play, but it's been very difficult for him tonight.
And this will be 7 wins, 7 draws and 5 defeats under Dean Smith. The free kick comes to nothing as Whelan plays it wide to the far side in Taylor. A high cross from him, and there was only one Aston Villa player inside the penalty area challenging. It was Tyrone Mings, and as a result it dribbles behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, and again just comes to nothing into dangerous areas and not people there. And Dean Henderson's just going to take his time over the goal kick. He's going to enjoy winding up the whole end, and the crowd, the attendance has just come up there, but I'd say a good few thousand of them have gone, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, 34,892. Just showing the size of the crowd here and the size of the club at Aston Villa, but tonight they have looked miles off being anywhere near the top 6.
Yeah, miles off it, and Sheffield United shows the size of their club, because on a Friday night they've made the trip down, they sold their allocation, but they'll have been very delighted that they've done that. But yeah, they are miles off it from this showing, and I've seen Aston Villa a few times this season and a good few times under Dean Smith, but this is the poorest I've seen.
Now McGinn watches the challenge come in from Whelan. Whelan has caught Norwood, and that will be a free kick for Sheffield United and a yellow card for Glenn Whelan.
It's just one of them. He's getting frustrated. He wanted to stop Sheffield United going on the attack, but you can see Sheffield United, no, there's another goal or two in this, and their goal difference at the moment is like an extra point. So when a team like this is for the taking, Aston Villa still are capable of going on a run, you never know, but certainly up at the top where Norwich is scoring a lot of goals, then if they can go and get another 1 or 2, you never know how important that could be at the end of the season.
Well, it's so tight up there. Every goal could count. Martin Craney is coming on to replace Kieran Dowell. He's looked impressive in the second half. A lovely cross for that third goal for Billy Sharp. And Martin Craney, the former Middlesbrough man, came through at Southampton. He will come on. That's a defensive change with Craney going to the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's saying I want a clean sheet. I want to come to Aston Villa, who score all the time at home. They do score goals. I want to come here. We've scored 3. Let's keep a clean sheet. And if they can go and get another one, brilliant for goal difference, but not concede any as well will be very important. And but yeah, Sheffield United have been so impressive.
Well, Villa have scored in their last 27 home games in the league. Of course, they lost here 3-0 to Swansea in the FA Cup. Well, they've not had a league defeat of this stature, not really since they came down from the Premier League. Here is Fleck, back towards Norwood. And now Basham. It's not just the scoreline. They've been given a schooling.
Oh, it's a manner of it, and the performance from Sheffield United has been brilliant, but they've been there's no comparison to the two teams in and out of possession. And in the build-up I was asked,
Billy Sharp just tangling with Elphick, and it continues as Sharp pulls Elphick up by the shirt, and it rides up almost off his back, and in the end it's a throw-in for Sheffield United, a couple of yards from the corner flag on this near side. 15 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Sheffield United leading here by 3-0. A Premier League doubleheader on TalkSport tomorrow. Matchday live with Adrian Durham. Watford against Everton at 3 is live and exclusive to national radio, as is Brighton against Burnley with Laura Woods and the team, Sam and Stewart, at 5:30. Here on TalkSport 2, there is coverage of the first day of the third test from St Lucia, live and exclusive with Mark Nicholas and the team from 1 o'clock. Then on Sunday, I'll be at Carrow Road. Well, I was going to say it was top against bottom, but of course it isn't now, with Sheffield United winning. It's Norwich against Ipswich. Myself and Dean Aston will be there, and the cricket will follow as soon as the final whistle goes in the East Anglian derby. Now McGoldrick controls well with his back to goal on this near side. Back again towards Stevens. The Olays coming now from the Sheffield United fans, and the Doug Ellis stand in particular is really starting to empty out of Villa supporters as it's clipped forward by Sharp, laid into the path of McGoldrick down the left-hand side. McGoldrick swoops into the penalty area, goes for goal because Sharp had slipped, but there were still 2 or 3 players in support as Kalinic makes the save at the near post.
Yeah, good play for McGoldrick, but he wanted to come on and get his goal. But I think if he's honest, that was the wrong choice, the wrong selection, and that shows you the desire of these Sheffield United players. The fans are singing "We Want Forward." There were 3 of them in the box looking for it, and if McGoldrick had just whipped the ball to the back post, then it would have been a pretty simple finish for one of them. But again, he said it, how many could this be on the counter-attack? Sheffield United look like it can get more and more and more. And you asked, well, I was asked in the build-up to this, did Dean Smith realise the size of the job? I think he knew it was a big job, but maybe performances like this are actually showing him it's an even bigger job than he did think. I thought he would have known it, but wow, they've been brilliant.
Now Billy Sharp looking for his 4th, tries an effort from 30 yards and it's way over the top. We have 14 minutes to play. A Villa midfielder just knocked a ball straight out of play, looking to feed El Ghazi, and that was the cue for the Villa fans to leave in their thousands. There is a mass exodus here at Villa Park. The Villa fans are leaving numb. I'm bitterly disappointed at the manner of this result, the manner of the performance maybe more importantly, because if your team are beaten by a good side, you'll take it, but Villa have been awful.
Yeah, I think they've been poor in possession. They've had 1 meaningful effort on target, which was well deep into the second half. But I honestly believe, I don't think their energy levels have been good enough. I don't think they've worked. I think they've been outworked, outplayed, and that is something that fans don't accept. I'm not saying these Villa players aren't trying, but I think it seems really flat and no response, and that was a bit that surprised me.
What a game coming up at Bramall Lane on Wednesday. Sheffield United against Middlesbrough, who of course are at home to Leeds tomorrow. That's the early kick-off in the Championship. Norwich facing Ipswich live on TalkSport 2 on Sunday. Derby against Hull is also a big game tomorrow, as is Stoke City against West Bromwich Albion, although mainly for West Bromwich Albion in terms of what's happening at the top of the table.
Brilliant though, isn't it? The Championship's brilliant. There are going to be so many other twists.
It is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and some really big teams. So many teams with big expectations, so many stories. Paul Lambert and Norwich and Ipswich would love to put a spanner in the works for, you know, for Norwich City. But yeah, just seeing pictures there, and was that
guy showing us a still of Kalinic claiming that he's got two hands on the ball when Billy Sharp scored, but
you can have two hands on him, it has to be in control.
Yeah.
So if you're meeting it at the same time, look, I'm a member of the Keepers Union, but I felt they met it at the same time, wasn't in control, but what it was to Billy Sharp, he was on the move, he was sniffing, he was looking for pieces where the Aston Villa defenders weren't. The one effort on target for Sheffield against Sheffield United, it's spilt or palmed into the dangerous area. Sheffield United defenders are straight onto it. So both ends and both boxes, they've been clinical. But Billy Sharp, wouldn't say 6 yards, probably combined all three goals.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. Maybe, you know, you've got to look at the Villa defending as well, because the header from Medine travelled, as you say, in slow motion, came back off the post, and still there was nobody there anywhere near it. Now Green with a cross, which is woefully overhit. One bounce out of play on this near side. And look, Green's a youngster. You can't lay it all on him, and that is the cue for more Villa fans to tip up their seats and leave.
Yeah, difficult time for Green and Whelan to come on. Was it at 3-0? Yeah. So, you know, very difficult.
All the best, lads.
Yeah, all the best, as you say. But I think that cross summed up the night, really, for Aston Villa. The lack of quality, the lack of composure, and it's just frustrating for the Aston Villa fans. But they've got to stick with their team, and Bristol City have showed that you can put a run together, you get right in there. The difference between Norwich and Sheffield United at Christmas, and now look at the league table. Yeah. So this is a championship. We've seen bigger things, and if Aston Villa get in the playoffs, once you're in there, we always say it's a lottery, and if you hit, and they would be hitting it with momentum, so why not?
Well, on Christmas Day, after back-to-back home defeats to Leeds and West Bromwich Albion, Sheffield United were sick. 9 points behind Norwich, who were leading the table at that stage. And tonight, they will be going above them on goal difference. This will be 6 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat in that time. Villa have won a corner, that's why the crowd are cheering. They're rubbing their eyes with disbelief as well. Horahan will take it. And he swings it in, left-footed, high to the far post. Henderson's lost it, and the goal has been scored. It was flicked in by Tyrone Mings, his first goal for Aston Villa. It was a really good header at the far post. Henderson got nowhere near it, and those fans who have stayed have seen Villa score 3-1.
And Henderson will be really disappointed. Said I've given him a big build-up in this, and he should come and deal with that. He took a brilliant cross early on in the, towards the end of the first half to relieve pressure, but there he comes amongst bodies. He gets up, and Tyrone Mings is just stronger than him, wants it more, and he's been Aston Villa's best player, really, and he deserves that goal. It's his home debut. It's been a tough night, but yeah, the clean sheet's gone, and no foul on the goalkeeper, no complaints there, but it's going to be a consolation.
And at least Villa have maintained that run of scoring in home games. It will now be 28 consecutive home games. Well, if they score in the next couple of minutes, then it's game on.
Yeah, it is. And then it will, we'll get nervy, and a lot of those fans will be trying to come back in. Yes. But yeah, Chris Wilder, but Henderson more than anyone. I'm a former goalkeeper, and when my team's done so well, I'd have wanted to come and claim that and deal with that, and he'd be disappointed.
And now the shot from McGinn is dragged wide from a good area. It was chested down by Abraham on the edge of the box, and McGinn, as we've seen, can strike a ball so sweetly, but not on that occasion.
Yeah, he's got previous against Sheffield clubs, and it was at that end as well, and he'll be disappointed. Good play from Abraham, good movement, cushioned it perfectly, and McGinn with that left foot couldn't quite get over it, drags it wide, but wow, as you say, suddenly it can really change. And obviously 3-1, if it had been 3-2 there, because you know he can work the goalkeeper from those ranges, it would have been very interesting, but dragged it wide, and Now Henderson's just going to boom it and just take a bit. Abraham, good movement, cushioned it perfectly. And McGinn,
in home games, it will now be 28 consecutive home games. Well, if they score in the next couple of minutes, then it's game on.
Yeah, it is, and then it will, we'll get nervy, and a lot of those fans will be trying to come back in.
Yes.
But yeah, Chris Wilder, but Henderson more than anyone. I'm a former goalkeeper, and when my team's done so well, I'd have wanted to come and claim that and deal with that, and he'd be disappointed.
And now the shot from McGinn is dragged wide from a good area. It was chested down by Abraham on the edge of the box, and McGinn, as we've seen, can strike a ball so sweetly, but not on that occasion.
Yeah, he's got previous against Sheffield clubs, and it was at that end as well, and he'll be disappointed. Good play from Abraham, good movement, cushioned it perfectly, and McGinn with that left foot couldn't quite get over it, drags it wide, but wow, as you say, suddenly it can really change. And obviously 3-1, if it had been 3-2 there, because he can work the goalkeeper from those ranges, it would have been very interesting, but dragged it wide. And now Henderson's just going to boom it and just take a bit. Abraham, good movement, cushioned it perfectly, and McGinn with that left foot couldn't quite get over it, drags it wide, but wow, as you say, suddenly it can really change. And obviously 3-1, if it had been 3-2 there, because he can work the goalkeeper from those ranges, it would have been very interesting, but dragged it.
Will try and recover it, but it's cleared away downfield, and Billy Sharp is the first away player to score a hat-trick here at Villa Park since Gareth Bale in the Premier League back in December 2012.
It was Tottenham. What was the score that day?
4-0.
4-0. Okay. You're too good, man.
No, look, Guy told me. I'm not claiming that.
Wouldn't surprise me if you did know. You're unreal.
I remember being sat in this seat, would have been maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when Liverpool won here 6-0. At one stage in the second half, I thought we were heading for something similar, because that was a day when Lescott accidentally tweeted a picture of a sports car.
One of my best mates.
yeah, tweeted it from his pocket. Remarkably. Here is Hutton now on this near side, comes in field, and was he caught by Stevens? He was, and it's a free kick for Villa. Connor Washington is about to come on for Sheffield United, another player who has gone a year without a goal. And it's a free kick for Villa here, and it's Billy Sharp who will be coming off, and he will get a standing ovation from the Sheffield United supporters. What a performance from their captain here tonight. Surely the match winner to take them back on top of the table. And there's a handshake with the referee, Tony Harrington, and Billy Sharp is milking the moment, and you can't blame him.
No, he has every right to, and you'd rather be Connor Washington coming on for Sheffield United than you would have been for those Aston Villa substitutes. And Washington will be saying, he hasn't scored for a long time, he'll be wanting to come get his goal. But Billy Sharp, great night's work. But if Villa do nick one now, then they'll be thinking, we could have turned it up a little bit earlier. But say Sheffield United really do need to defend this, because there is still time if they get one for Aston Villa to suddenly really change the momentum in this game.
Hourihan's free kick, 5 minutes to play, 3-1 to Sheffield United, and it falls to Whelan, who clips it wide to the far side. The cross is driven right across the face of goal, and Abraham has scored, and all of a sudden Aston Villa are right back in this game, and the fans who stayed will be very glad they did. In the blink of an eye, 3-0 has become 3-2.
That's why we love this division, and we're just saying it there. If Villa do get one now, especially as Sheffield United just made a substitution, there's time. You can see the belief coming back into the ground. They've seen some unbelievable tales here with the Preston game, for example. Balls hit across. I still think Henderson doesn't cover himself in glory, gets 2 hands to it. Whelan, he thought, was he going to cross? Borland, there he goes. Henderson couldn't do better, but Abraham, like Billy Sharp, he's on the spot, and that's why he's a top goal scorer in this division as well, because he's right in there, poaching, looking for it. He's had nothing to feed on all night. Tammy Abraham, 3-2. Game on, listen to that roar.
Well, where has this come from?
Well, yeah, and that's what the Villa fans will be thinking. Where's it been? And so will Dean Smith. They haven't changed any tactics, but that's what goals do. Goals, it's an old saying, they change games, they change momentum. Now listen to the crowd. They got one early and the whole end was full. Wow, that would have been, but still, it's time to get back into this.
3.5 minutes to play, 3-2, Sheffield United lead. It's Hutton coming forward now. He steps in field, finds Hourihan. Sheffield United are backing off and backing off. It's Hutton once again. Now Now El Ghazi down the right-hand side. McGinn waits at the near post. El Ghazi delivers the cross high to the far post. Two Sheffield United players nearly collide as they try to clear, and eventually Connor Washington will bring the ball clear. And there's a heavy challenge from Taylor, but it's now gathered by Baldock, and Sheffield United looking to catch Villa on the break here. 3 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Aston Villa 2, Sheffield United 3. As Baldock and Washington tried to win it back from Green on the far side. There's a foul on Green, and it's a free kick. In fact, Mings, I should say, and it's a free kick for Aston Villa.
It's going to be a yellow card for Baldock, but actually, Baldock, take your time getting your yellow because you want to take the sting out of this game. It's a foul a long way from goal, but this now, if Sheffield United are going to go up automatically, this might be a moment. They've gone from being in total control, 3-0 up, cruising. We thought that one goal was a consolation one. Well, now 3-2. Suddenly, if they did drop points here, even if it was a draw, it feel like a defeat. So they need to show that character to see this game through. But listen to that noise. These Villa fans are trying to make the difference. The whole end's in full voice.
Now Hutton. 2 minutes to play. Aston Villa 2, Sheffield United 3. El Ghazi hooks it in, it takes a deflection off Stevens. It is behind for a corner, and the Aston Villa fans are coming back in.
They're getting back in. You know this corner's going to get whipped in under the crossbar. Henderson, how are you? You got hurt by the first one. Mings beat you to it. Are you going to come? You're going to be the match winner for your team and get a punch on it. He's going to be right under that crossbar.
Everybody back for Sheffield United. Horahan's delivery. There's a body that's gone down. It's Mings, but no free kick is given. And Sheffield United will try and break. And it's Fleck who plays it infield towards Washington. Washington tried to sidestep Taylor, but it's a good challenge. Abraham is back there to win it back. He plays it into the penalty area, looking for the run of El Ghazi, but it's overhit and it's a goal kick.
These Villa fans can sense it. They can sense it. They know that there could be one more chance, a set piece, a mistake, something. And look at Henderson again, trying to run down the clock. He doesn't care, he's winding up that whole end, but that's it. You feel it as a player. When you're in it on a game, you think, suddenly we're out of it. No, we're back in it. And when you're the team hanging on as well, how calm can you stay? And you talk about leaders. Who's on that pitch now who can just calm everybody down, manage the game and see this through? But I bet Chris Wilder never thought he was going to get this nervy.
45 seconds of normal time to play. McGoldrick challenges Elphick, and it spins away off the Sheffield United man for a throw-in. 3-2, Sheffield United lead. They led 3-0 with 8 minutes to play. Now Green coming forward. All eyes will shortly be on the fourth official, David Webb. Horahan swings in the cross, looking for McGinn. Headed away, though. Good header by Stevens. And it's hooked clear by Fleck over the top. Looking for Washington, but nodded down by Mings. Now Elphick, square towards Taylor. All Aston Villa now. Taylor scoops it into the penalty area beyond Green, and it will bobble away, and it's a goal kick, and we will have 5 added minutes at the end of this game.
Chris Wilder will be thinking, how long are you putting up? How long are you putting up? This will seem like the longest 5 minutes ever for Chris Wilder and his Sheffield United team, and these Sheffield United fans who stayed to the end as well. They're trying to help their team, but it's just crazy. Where has this come from? And that's what we were saying. These Aston Villa players, they had more inside them. They definitely had more. It shouldn't take a goal to get this work rate up, to be pressing and cause the Sheffield United team problems. But let's see what happens. But I love coming here to Villa Park. Every time I come, there's some great drama.
Clip forward by Baldock, looking for Washington. Mings will get there first and hook the ball away. Now Taylor, but it's quickly won back by Norwood, who will try and find Baldock, and Baldock knew the ball was going out of play, but just make sure it goes out of play, because it's into those Sheffield United supporters who hold on to the ball. If I were them, I'd get the ball back because it had on more time.
Well, yeah, well, they've already thrown another one on, so they're just thinking if they can even waste, if that's 10 seconds gone, they've done a bit for their team. But yeah, I wasn't surprised that ball wasn't going to come back. I thought they'd actually save it to throw it on when the play started, just to waste a bit more time. But bit of jokes there.
Headed away for Sheffield United, it finds McGoldrick, and here is Fleck charging forward now. Fleck has support left and right. He goes wide to the right, and McGoldrick Washington rather. And now Fleck will just go towards the corner flag. How on earth are Sheffield United clinging on 3-2 in a game they have absolutely dominated? But it's Whelan coming forward now. He tries to find Abraham, but sliding in to make the challenge is O'Connell, and it will be a throw-in for Aston Villa. And we have just over 3 minutes of added time to play. Driven ball forward from Whelan, picked up by Horahan on the far side. Taylor ahead of him down the left. Horahan swings in the cross, looking for McGinn, and McGinn tangling with Stevens, and the ball goes out of play, and it will be a throw into Sheffield United by the corner flag on this near side, and nobody is keen to take it.
I thought McGinn had just got the wrong side of Stevens in, but he just did enough to usher him out of it and not let him get a header on the ball. But I thought that was going to be a chance there for Aston Villa, but that counter-attack. But it's crazy, you got the Sheffield United fans singing "We want four, we want four." It just seemed like the most one-sided game ever, and that's what it is. Goals. You just get that goal and have that belief. But they've suddenly upped the tempo, they've upped the energy, the quality, everything, and Sheffield United are hanging on.
Horahan now. Square it goes towards Taylor. And Andre Green has the opportunity to try and attack Baldock down this far side, the left. And Green will trick his way towards the penalty area. High cross towards the far post is overhit. And it's a goal kick, and that may release the pressure for Sheffield United.
And there's moments in season, so I think Preston, who've had brilliant recruitment in the window, by the way, but they came here, they were 2-0 down at half-time, ended up 3-2, 3-3, but Maxwell saved the penalty against Glenn Whelan right at the end, and that sort of
could have kept Steve Bruce in a job.
It might have kept Steve Bruce in a job, but it kick-started Preston's season. If Aston Villa got one now, you know how the draw that West Brom got sort of knocked the stuffing out of them a bit. Maybe Grealish coming back, Tuanzebe coming back, getting a goal now might just change this. Could be a moment that would change their season.
A long goal kick forward for Sheffield United. It's quickly recovered. Here is Horahan for Villa. Pings it wide to this near side. Stevens slices it out of play. It will be a throw-in. And we have just under 90 seconds of added time to play. 3-2 to Sheffield United on TalkSport 2. It's been a thrilling night in the Sky Bet Championship. El Ghazi's cross takes a deflection off Stevens. There's a miss kick inside the area. McGinn with a cross high to the far post. Green's header! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Andre Green has made it 3-3, and Sheffield United have blown it. 3-0 up with 8 minutes to play, but from somewhere Aston Villa have dredged up the most unlikely of recoveries, and Sheffield United are stunned. Aston Villa 3, Sheffield United 3.
Wow, what drama. Everybody's stunned. You look at the contrast on the bench. Aston Villa celebrating like they won this. The fans, the manager, Chris Wilder thinking, what's going on? Andre Green, only a few minutes ago, I was giving him a bit of stick for putting an awful cross in. Well, now he's a hero. He's come through the academy system. Brilliant ball in. Should have been cleared. Should have been cleared by the Sheffield United defender. I think it was O'Connell, was it, who swung at it, air shot. But brilliant play then from McGinn. His energy level has been fantastic. That's quality. Dink to the back post. There's Green. Header. Winger in at the back post. Fantastic drama. The whole end erupts. Wow, what drama. 3-3. Unbelievable.
And it just goes to show, never leave a game early.
Yeah, too right. And you can understand why these Villa fans felt that the game was over, but that's why you have to stay there. And the ones that have stayed have played their part. They've lifted their team. You can feel the tension. You can feel it changing. We thought 3-1 consolation, but wow, once it went to 3-2, there was just that bit longer. But I keep saying it, where has that performance been? Why did it take 8 minutes to go and a goal to do that?
Well, that is it, and what a night. Well, the championship is the gift that keeps on giving. And how on earth did Aston Villa, 3-0 down with 8 minutes to play, come back and take a point from that? Sheffield United were top of the table, they were cruising, but in the end, they will leave here feeling this is like a defeat. Chris Wilder sprints off the pitch. He will be absolutely fuming. Teams that get promotion do not give up 3-goal leads like that, and somehow Aston Villa have clawed back a point. It could be a turning point in the season of both clubs. It is finished. Aston Villa 3, Sheffield United 3.
Great call, Nigel Adley. Thank you. A staggering comeback at Villa Park. that could just revitalise Aston Villa and their season. Matt Murray, that could be the point that saves Aston Villa's season.
Yeah, it could. It will feel like a victory. For those players in there, it'll feel like a victory. For Sheffield United, it'll feel like a defeat. Fair play to all the Sheffield United players. They've gone over. Chris Wilder sprinted over, applauded the fans of the Sheffield United team.
But look at them. They look absolutely bereft.
The Sheffield, so as it could be a turning point for Aston Villa, because they're applauding their whole end. All the players are out here celebrating. But that Tyrone Mings header, but Dean Henderson's walking off, and I was bigging him up in the, in the build-up, saying, could he be a Manchester United goalkeeper? That's why he's out on loan, because him not dealing with that corner into the box, Tyrone Mings, who was excellent all night, got that header, and that just changed the momentum. It changed it. Then when it was 3-2, you really, really sensed that Aston Villa were going to get back into this. And yeah, you look at pivotal moments, it must feel like a victory. Even though I say it's a point, it must feel like a victory. They've come from nowhere. So the two questions, well, what character to get back in, and quality, and shows you got that in your side. But why is it taken so long in this game, and why were they so far before?
Well, this game, Matt, this game is a gift that carries on giving. Football, it's why we love it, why we tell you never to leave a game early, never to turn your radio off, because things like that, incidents like this can happen. For 80 minutes, 80 plus minutes, Aston Villa completely uninterested, looked a million miles away from a side capable of top 6 football, and somehow they walk away with a point. How has that happened?
Well, because they have got quality on the pitch, and they have got some fantastic players, and as you say, goals, just that momentum can change, and there's some very good players in the Aston Villa team.